Definitely a delay in the chat. I'm not going to be able to. Well, I'm waiting on the other computer to update. It's been updating for like 40 minutes. So I have this on my iPad viewing it right now. So I'll still be able to see the comments onto here. I'll give it a few minutes. Oh, now it says 100%, but we're still spinning. Always something on these crazy technology things. I've been sitting here for a while now, getting everything ready for tonight. This is like kind of like a fake green screen behind me because my whole place is a mess right now from doing all different things every direction. Every time I clean it, it gets dirty. So I can never win offhand. So I'm going to give it a few minutes here, get some people in the room. CVC will be joining us here a little bit, probably about next 10-15 minutes offhand. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. If there's anything wrong in the chat, just holler. I think I got all the background stuff taken care of already. And we'll roll here shortly. Oh, now the other computer's restarting, whatever. They can do what it wants over there. I may have my head a little bit pointing to the other way because normally my computer is like right there to where I'm looking at. So now I got to shift to the left just so everybody's tracking. Everything looks good. Looks good over on all this. That's so weird. You're coming. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say it popped up on my iPad quicker than it did on the computer. What's up, Jimmy? Doing all right. Doing all right out there. Everything's good, man. I had a card show up today in Lexington, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna have the video come out Tuesday. I got a lot of video editing to do, and I just started using a GoPro onto it, so I have no idea what the footage is gonna look like because I didn't have much practice with it. But I'll say the card show was definitely different. There wasn't a whole lot there. There wasn't a huge show. I'd probably say it was more on the small side. Oh, the computer's restarting again. A lot of it was just I could buy those retail box type deal stuff out there. I did find one table. Oh, Joey needs in. Joey needs in. All right. I want to see how this looks. I think we both could just stay on screen once it switches over. It takes a minute to connect his video and everything up. But this is going to be something different that I've had in the works for a while. I know it's 11 o'clock, so we're going to roll. With this, it's going to be a weekly thing on Friday nights, unless I have a show that Saturday, or we're doing a live auction. It'll just cancel out the door in a week. What I want to do is I want to bring something different back into the realm of the hobby because not a lot of people out there are actually talking. And if they are talking about certain subjects, they're like, bouncing that borderline across. And if they do and they get a lot of slack on their channels, they're deleting their videos. So the information's not really getting out there. And just I am keeping an eye to my right on my other computer to come up so I can actually be focused and looking at the camera and reading chat. So just give me a few onto that, everybody. I don't even know if it's going to work. We're just winging it. We're winging it tonight. But that's pretty much what the Extreme Overtime Live is going to end up being. And it's going to deal with subjects that a lot of people are not going to talk about live on YouTube, or if they are, they're not hitting the areas that need to be hit on to it from what I've seen. Grant, there's a lot of good YouTube channels out there. I'm not trying to put any channel down or anything. What's up, Brandon? I'm more about trying to. Oh, you know what? I can mod from my other computer, I think. Yes, I can. There we go. I want to put stuff out there so people could think and they don't fall into the loophole of seeing or buying into stuff and then they're taking a loss with their hard-earned money. The videos that I started doing this year, I shouldn't say we really because it's all been me. I'm used to saying we because extreme card breaks, but have been hitting on scammers, trim cards, fake autos, all that stuff to bring it to light because there's so much talk that goes on in the community that people don't get to see. Now I know these are going to be late at night, and it's just because I want to keep it more to the later hours onto it. People can watch the video later and everything, and I'll do all the uh, crazy little things onto it and stuff afterwards. But
Can you hear me?
AJ, but I can hear you, CBC.
All
But what
right.
I want to do is go into topics that really are concerning out there in my eyes. And I know from people that I talk to, daily, weekly, whatever it may be, their concerns as well, too. So with that being said, I mean, it's not going to be anything like rough language, like F this, F that type deal, but it's going to hit some key points. The videos will remain up regardless. People don't like it. Everybody's going to have their own opinion out there. And that's something I want to point out to everybody. Everybody can have their own. Oh, it's still cleaning up their computer. They can still have their own opinion on this stuff. And that's what I do mostly. I mean, I value opinion onto it. Am I right 100% of the time? Probably not. Probably not. You know, but I take a lot of time into studying the market out there. I look at different aspects of collecting as both a hobby and a flipper out there. So hopefully these will become informational. I don't want to really go over an hour on these. I mean, I do get long-winded at times, but with it just coming from a card show, you guys are safe today. You're really, really safe. I won't be too long-winded, I promise. But like I said, it'll be a weekly thing. There'll be different topics out there. We'll keep eyes on chats. Different people could pop in and out on the Zoom. If you ever want to be part of it, holler. I can email you the link. As long as you have a Zoom account, you can come in, hang out, chill with us. But it's about bringing more knowledge and more in-depth areas to people out there that have been talked about. I don't want to say by select groups, but more like private groups of people that have been together since like 13, 14, even older and stuff. So that's the idea behind this. I just wanted to give that up. I'm just reading some of the comments because my iPad is picking up so much quicker than my computer. But that's pretty much what it is onto it. Joey's joined in today. If he wants to throw his link to his channel into the chat, he can. He's going to do some different experiences on this stuff as well too. But tonight we're going to be looking at how Panini ruins select, whether it's football or the upcoming basketball, and that's really not talked about at all. I don't hear a lot of people saying this, but they ruined it by going retail. We're going to talk about what it means by a soft market, where card values are, the buying, the selling on it. I got my little notes in front of me too. With that, also, I want to hit with card show trends recently and what I've heard from people who attended the Dallas show, both as sellers and buyers. And these are people that I've known for multiple years, have lots of money invested into sports cards. And it's really interesting when you start hearing this stuff. And then we're going to go into what a lot of people are looking for, and they couldn't get it all, too. Now, some of this stuff might be covered by their YouTubers. I have no idea. I don't watch them all out there. I try to catch what I can. But that's what we're going to pretty much hit into tonight. And each week it'll be, 3 or 4 subjects, out there. And to be able to provide the information, insights from myself or whoever else out there so that people can have some general knowledge, come to your own conclusions onto it. If it sparks something, I was telling Joey earlier about like things that I'm looking at. And if I hear people saying they're going after like Shaquille O'Neal tops rookies and stuff like that, I'm not going to go buy Shaq rookies because people already bought them up to a certain level. And now if they're saying that people are going to buy those Shaq rookies, and guess what? Them people that are putting out that information, their value on what they just bought went up. Something nobody will ever say out there. I start spinning that and I'm like, wow, man, everybody's buying Shaq rookies. You know what? I'm going to look at Shaq autographs for an example. And that's maybe where I go invest my money at that time frame is into that Shaq auto. What's up, Todd? Chris, how you doing? Oh yeah, yeah. Select has been a huge one out there. Huge. It's been ruined. And I'm going to start off with that because that's probably the one that's going to ruffle some feathers out there. There's big people out there that love Select. They love their retail product. There's nothing wrong with it. I think retail has been pushed so much that it's been overproduced immensely. And the reason behind this is that the money is flowing. They got to have more products. Look how much we have of all this stuff out there. Whether you're talking Prism, Optic, or whatever, you got Hobby, You got T-Mall. You got whatever they want to call the fast break version with the bubbles onto it. Then you got hanger exclusives, freaking blaster exclusives. Cello packs have their own thing. Mega Box has their own thing. While they each have their own thing, they've killed the base levels. They've killed the silver prisms. They've actually killed field levels. Those used to be box hits. Now they're just out there left and right. They're so common. Nobody wants a field level this year. And if they do, they just don't realize how much has been in production onto it. When you look into not field level, the zebra stripes. Zebra stripes used to be a case hit in hobby. Now there's all kind of zebra stripes. Every color of the unicorn out there in a zebra stripe. The prices are dropping. When I was at the show today, everybody had select football. Nobody was moving it. If they were moving it, they were moving it at a very, very low profit onto it. What's up, AJ? But it was so low onto it that it's just funny because if you go back through years, select rookies, whether they were concourse premier, field level was like huge. Zebra stripes, everybody wanted them. They were big. Now with Panini mass producing that stuff, look at what a Herbert concourse premier or field level is going for. It's not going nearly what it should be at all. I know CBC, you open up a lot of retail stuff. What do you see onto it?
A lot of the retail that I've been getting blasters, I've been getting hangers, megas. It is actually an abundance of stuff that they have given out this year. Like you were saying, the field levels were, case hits. I'm getting one or two per box. It's not like anything crazy or spectacular what's been going on with it. I got some right in front of me. I got some silvers in front of me. You got these purple die cuts this year. You got all kinds of green die cuts. You got the red die cuts, the silvers. To me, I wish they would have kept it hobby only because it's going to kill the market on it.
I really think the market's already killed on it. It's going to kill basketball. And with the grading companies right now being so far behind on submissions, people have 40 to 60% of their inventory sitting in all these companies. So money's not moving. You look at the bigger collectors out there, they bought in high. Most of them, some of them have their stuff sitting in PWCC vault waiting for a spike so they can hurry up and try to recoup their money. Because the people who bought Topps Chrome LeBrons at 40K, they're not going to get 40K back out or more onto it. Those things are like 25, 28K last I checked within a week or so. They might have shifted a little bit because now we got playoffs out there and the Lakers actually won a game, maybe two now. I haven't checked. I know they at least won one. But I think that it's really going to hurt the market overall because there's no money flowing. You're overproducing it. People say it all the time. This is the new junk wax era. In a way, that is 100% true. And you know as well as a lot of people coming in here, I get into hobby only, a lot of my stuff. If I'm getting into something that's hobby and retail, it's because through the years, it's become very good. Like Bowman, you just can't knock Bowman. And normally when you're going in Bowman, you're looking for autographs. And I'm going back 2-3 years. Nobody cared about if I pulled a green refractor. Reds and oranges, non-auto people kind of, bought into and stuff. But when you're starting to mass produce everything else, like Chronicles, there's a perfect example. Score football, mass produced. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants that stuff. At the shows, it's all over the tables. And I just walk right by it. Right by it.
Well,
I have nothing to do with it.
Look what they did with Bowman. What was the price of Bowman when it came out for a box? It has dropped a lot. Just like Prism Basketball, they dropped too.
Like 300 a box, and now distributor level, I think they're 259, 269 a hobby box. I think it's 259. And I know Jumbo dropped to, I think it's 529 because me and Jacob just had this conversation the other day because to me that's a great buy because it's dipped down in price and it's a comfortable market for somebody that wants to invest later in life onto, the prospects onto it. But whenever you start looking at other aspects of other sports, it's hyped up too much. What happens this year if all those quarterbacks fail? Think about this. And I know you're a Jags fan, not knocking on Trevor Lawrence like I normally do. But what if he goes out there, has a horrible season? What happens because Zach Wilson went to the Jets and they're just horrible up there, and that he falls to the Sam Darnold curse, which has been going on for years, but I'm just calling it Sam Darnold curse. At the same time frame, you already know that was it Trevor Lance is out in San Francisco. He's probably not going to play this year. I can tell you, I'm almost positive Justin Fields is a flop because Ohio State does not usually give out great quarterbacks, and it's just over time. But there's a
Mac
chance
Jones,
he could be the next great thing.
I think Mac Jones is the one that's going to be able to flourish. I mean, if Cam starts to struggle a little bit, they'll plug him in.
I think Stidham will go in before Mac Jones. I mean, I don't think they'll put Mac
Stidham
Jones
couldn't beat
in
out.
for a year or two.
Stidham couldn't even beat out Newton. If they were, I mean, they gave him 1 year contract last year and they brought him back. They don't have no confidence in Stidham.
That is true, Eagles fan. I'm just reading some of this stuff on here.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the pricing out and buying new hobby box products, it's immense. That's why you don't see me buying football and basketball anymore. Because in order for me to get one box of pre-order, I got to spend like $10,000 a week on freaking football and basketball. You can't grade that stuff out. And when you start talking about grading out, that's why we went to a bad rut right now with grading. Is you used to be able to sit there and like if I was chasing Herbert, I would just do a bulk submission on Herbert's. Well, what happened was everybody's like, oh, I want every rookie card graded out there. And we fell into that trap onto it. So it really messed us up onto it. It pushed the prices up. Right now, the only hobby boxes that are out there that I would even look at is baseball. I mean, I would probably do soccer still. I still buy into it, but I look at baseball in different ways to where I know there's value into it. I could possibly grade it out later and try to get my money back on it. But a lot of stuff now, it's not going to be a quick flip unless you hit something big, super express it at $300, and then you get your money back plus some.
Chris in the chat, you think Justin Fields may surprise people? The problem is with that, he's still got Andy Dalton and Nick Foles in front of him. He's going to be third string right now. He's got a little hill he's got to climb because Foles has a pretty big contract as it is. I know Dalton, I think, was a 1 or 2 year deal on that, but I think Fields does have a shot, but right now he's going to be third in line. So, I mean, it's going to take a lot to get him in. I know Dalton, he ain't what he's supposed to be in Foles. He's one injury away as well. So, I mean, I see your point, but I don't know about Fields. We know Lance is going to be behind Garoppolo. Wilson's going to be thrown out there and just ragdolled. Trevor Lawrence, you know, everything's up in the air with any quarterbacks right now. We have no idea.
If this quarterback class fails out there, what do you think? You think product will dip in price? But I'm not talking retail, we're talking hobby. Let me rephrase that completely because that's a different aspect.
Do I think it dips in price? No. Because just because the rookies aren't hitting doesn't mean everything else isn't. That's the only thing. I mean, there could be something else out there that people want. I mean, they're going to want still the veteran autos. They're still going to want all that stuff. But, I mean, I get it with football. Everything's rookie quarterback driven. But we saw last year Justin Jefferson and Claypool actually were doing good. They made a little noise, so people might be wanting something like that. But I don't know if the quarterbacks are. Yeah, you know, I can see it. I can see it dipping down, but not a lot.
I think this because I see the aspect from a distributor level. So let's just use what was for football. We paid like $60 a box for it, selling at 200. Okay. I don't see if this quarterback class fails that though if that would be like score would come out later in the year. I don't see it being $200. I see it coming out being 100, 120 like it normally was. If the class is bad, I don't think it's going to be horrible, but I think it'll affect the overall resale after the distributor level onto it. I think it'll make it a little bit more manageable. Do I think we're going to see 2016, 17, or 18 prices? No. I
No.
think it'll dip back down to a little bit around like the beginning of COVID, where stuff was like a Prism hobby box was probably like $300 for Zion. I think it'll be something like that. I don't think we're going to see $1,000 to $1,500 boxes coming out of Prism or Select and stuff like that, unless these quarterbacks prove something. Because a lot of people in the market right now are not going to look for second year cards to grade out. You can hit a nice veteran auto, Tom Brady, but what's the odds of that? One in what, 50 cases? I don't see that chase onto it. Now, flawless, different story. Short numbered, out of 25 or less, everything into it. Got it on that. But when you start
Well,
hitting Prism stuff,
flawless NT and iMac, that I'm not really worried about that. That ain't gonna go nowhere. That's gonna be fine. Because a lot of people, new people, got a lot of money tied into grading companies and got their cards out there. It's going to be interesting when the influx of all the slabs and more slabs come into play. What's going to happen with the market on that?
and
Am I
that's why I
still?
told you about your LaMelo, why I would send it in Super Express. And
Oh,
this
it's in
is,
grading now. It's in grading now.
it's in grading now. Now, let me give you an example. He hit a LaMelo Silver out of Mega Box, was it, or Blaster?
Nah, Mega.
Okay, Mega. Now, PSA 9's what we looked at when you hit it like 2 weeks ago, like $1,500. He
I
spent
hit it. I
$200
hit the
on.
LaMelo like 5 days ago because I sent it in like 2 days
I thought it
after
was
I
like
got
2 weeks, Steve. My whole
Ah,
days are all messed up. But anyhow,
no, I
$200
got it
on
a
the
couple
Mega
days ago.
Box, $300 to grade it. We're going to just say roughly shipping there and back was $50 with insurance. I'm just throwing
Yeah,
it out there. So
yeah,
$550
you're
you have
close.
invested in that card. If it comes back a 9, it's at $1,500. Pop level was only at 1 for a 10, so who knows? An 8, you make about 100, $200 back. But it's
Yeah,
a gamble
yeah.
to take before the market gets flooded on those. Get
Hmm.
it, sell it, dump it, reinvest. And as I said, I'm looking at autographs and numbered cards across the board. Now, unless we start going, 5 years maybe back, because a lot of people didn't take care of their base rookie cards and stuff. So
Yep.
stuff's a little more valuable. I know people, we used to do box wars with the first year of Prism basketball. I think it was like $40 a box, maybe 50. It was cheap. Well, you get all the crap because the only thing you wanted that time frame might have been a silver, and you were chasing autos. People threw that stuff in the trash. They used it for kindling, whatever you want to say. That's why it's out there right now. And there you go. I've been sucking up
Yeah.
numbered wide receiver and running backs cheap. That's the thing. If you want to hold it to have a safe chance at investing later, my goal is out of 99 or less, or it's autographed. Normally the autographs should be numbered, but like contenders, there's all kind of base stuff out there and stuff. It's not numbered. But by having that, you give yourself more room later on to move the or to the card or whatever you're building sets out of it and stuff. And I'm not saying it's not wrong to go out and go buy, because you're like a Justin Herbert fan, 50 select rookies and grade them. I'm not, because that's who you collect. What I say is wrong is you're buying Herbert and Burrow and Hurts and Issa and Love, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like 10 rookies and grade them all. That's where the market got flooded bad. If you're a pure collector on it, I have no issue with you sending in all the bulk you want to that guy. My issue has been people are grading that whole box out. When I
Yeah.
used to say I grade my box out, I think it went made me look kind of bad because people were thinking I graded everything. I really didn't. I took enough out that I knew where I was going to get my money back onto the box.
Yeah.
And that's where I would go on. And other boxes I took losses on too, that I just didn't grade nothing. But
not just that, it's just now more of a gamble because with the prices of slabbing going up and the prices for hobby boxes are going up, everything's just a really big gamble right now. I mean, if you've been in it for a while, you're going to stay in it. But if you're new to it, I have a feeling eventually some of them are going to start leaving because they can't compensate from what they're getting.
no, you
You know,
can't.
you're getting something. You're going to send a card off to PSA, and they're going to, let's say they raise their prices to the minimum of $50 a card. You got to hit something that's even going to get you a $100 or 125, 150 in a PSA 9 to even make some kind of profit. So it's kind of like it's. I think a lot of people are going to leave the hobby. And do I think it's going to slow down like it is now? I think it's going to slow down a little bit more. But it just like everything, it comes in waves all the time. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Well, I mean, it
So
goes right. It goes right to the soft market piece. I mean, that's why we're in a soft market now because of everything being held all over the place. Whether PWCC vault, PSA, Beckett vaults, people that bought too high on the stuff. You got the what do you call it, the IPO funding where you can buy a percent of a card. Those are sitting there. And that's why a lot of people bought into that stuff because they saw all these other investors. Investors, that's the thing is you got people in the hobby and you got an investor. Investors just going to come in short term and make their money and go. There's not many that's going to stick it long term or hold a whole lot long term like they started off as. And they're going to phase out. And then 5-10 years again, they're going to come back. You'll see some spikes into it, depending on what influencer out there, says, hey, check this out. This used to be a hot market. Let's all get back into it and make a boom. And if you had the stuff hold, then you're good. What's up, John?
and then I just say it goes also back to pop reports. We're going to see all kinds of stuff. Just pop reports are going to go bananas soon, which is like base Burrows, base Herberts, base Tuas, base Roberts, base Bichettes. It's just going to skyrocket because everyone sent in base stuff, regardless of what it was.
Yep. I mean, I sent a lot of base to the top, like 2 or 3 rookies in, and people that I was chasing. But when I started hearing what some other people have been sending in and was in the backlog, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be here forever. And they're never going to move.
Like your
They
Griffey
took a
video,
loss on it. That's a big loss.
like that Griffey video of that guy sending the 290 tops Griffies and getting what, 7s or 6s?
Oh, yeah, 7s or something. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Super Express or something too.
yeah. He paid the top notch to get 290 tops Griffies. I get it. A lot of people were kind of going for those at that time because they were hard and the pop report was low or there was an error in some of those cards. I get it, but I mean, to pay that kind of money, that kind of holds a little bit of everything up.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay that kind of money for that. I'm very selective with what I send to begin with. And I mean, I used to all the time. We used to do bulk orders when they were $10, $8 a card and stuff. And you were expected to get them back a year, especially at the quarterly values. So that's where a lot of people had that stuff sitting there. And then when the market boomed, they slammed it out there and it went for stupid prices. So everybody sees that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I got this. And they sent it all in. That's what started the backlog. If you had it already, you were golden. If you don't, and you're still sitting in PSA's thing, you're done. I mean, look at Luca. Luca is a perfect example. PSA 10 base Prism Luca was up to almost $1,800. It's now under $800 a card. You're talking under over a 50% drop, and I never seen why it should have shot up that high. I was a person that downloaded my Lucas in stages. I only kept the autographs, the Tiger Stripe, and I can't remember what else is up there. Oh, there's 2 silvers that I kept because I had like 20 some of them.
But a lot of people didn't pay attention to the pop report. Not just PSA's pop report. You got Beckett's pop report, SGC's pop report. You got to take that all into consideration of everyone's pop report. They just made a lot of Prism. They made a lot of Prism that year, but not as much as they're doing now because like a cash cow.
You got every aspect out there on Prism. They're making so many different variations of stuff in there. They're killing the silvers and the bases onto it. And you're right. You got to look, just because you're buying PSA, just don't look at that pop report. Look at Beckett. I mean, I really won't say look at SGC because I just don't even count them, but I take the 2 big ones, Beckett and PSA, and I look at what the total population's been graded. I'll look at, for Beckett, 9 5s and 10s and PSA 9s and 10s. And then I look at the overall and I do a percentage up and I'm like, not good. And that's when I try to move the stuff, and I'll buy like a Trout auto out of 25, out of 50, stuff like that. It's a good hold down the road. And the guy retires, it'll go up in value down there and everything else. This PSA will keep getting tighter and pop control. And that's a discussion too, Eagles fan, that they just bought Gemma and that was something recently. I don't know if it's in effect yet. And I've had some conversations with now multiple people onto it. And I'm going to give a slight little side story here. A buddy of mine wanted to get his PSA 10 LeBron James Topps rookie reslab because of scratches. So he sends it off to a guy. Yeah, you know the story already. And he's just supposed to have it reslabbed. Well, he gets it reslabbed and it comes back a PSA 9. Now, one of two things could have happened, which he doesn't have the answer on this, is the guy didn't hit rehold, hit review. PSA should have been like, why am I reviewing a 10? But hey, whatever, new person working, you do what you're told, I guess, and whether you like it or not. But he came back a PSA 9. Now he has to find his old serial number, the new one, see if they match up and everything else. Are they using Gemma now? I have no clue, but I know the plan, I want to say, was 1 September. If Charles was in here, he might know offhand. But if they are, that AI, I want to call it AI, computer intelligence program, basically does this initial scan and gives the card like with all the defects and stuff like that there. What I do like after that stuff goes straight to a grader. The grader has to review it, then still look at the card. It's not a quicker process. I think it's a longer process. And I believe in one of the PSA's newsletters, they actually said it's a longer process now with it. It's just more accurate by doing it this way. And then I believe a senior grader still has to review the card depending on the price value, from what I was told.
Did Eric tell you the Jerry Rice story?
Yes. I already
Yeah.
know all that on the Bird rookie and all that stuff coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cracked, some cards. And it was for business reasons onto it. So let me say, they normally would not crack a PSA 9 Jerry Rice rookie. So cracked it so they can get some stuff done, like measurements and stuff for authenticity on cards and stuff not being trimmed for a program. They send it back in, comes back a 6.
And it was a 9.
Yeah, 9 to a 6. Now, here's
Woo.
what you have to look at with stuff like that. There was a time when the slabs in PSA were tight. If that smashed the card, you can't use a front or bottom look at it. You got to look from the side angle onto it, okay, to see if it's actually indented in and made that concave piece into it. I had it happen with screw downs. The other thing is the grading standards have changed. They say you grade that third gen like 2005 or 6, right? The standards have changed in grading since then. So I could see it coming back a grade lower, maybe 2 at the most, but 3, no. Insane onto that. It really was.
Yeah, because he was mad. They opened them up so they can get a measurement purposes and some data for it and everything like that. And then they get it back a 6, but it was a 9.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, he's got to take into account, like you said, the slab. Was it a newer slab, or was it an older slab? How old was the slab? Because PSA's changed slabs throughout the years. There ain't no telling.
Yeah, but the thing was that wasn't just on one card; it was on like 10 cards too. So I know for a fact that there were slabs early on that were real tight fit with PSA, and there's ones that were looser to where the card moved more. So it was just what could be the reason behind that. We can sit there and guess until we're, blue in the face. We'll probably never find out the true thing behind it. I'm guessing offhand it probably deals with the grading standards have changed over the years. And it's not so much the centering being 90-10, 80-20 and all that. It's with surfaces. And when you start talking surfaces, things changed when we started producing all these chrome and shiny cards out there, to where there's different defects, whether it's printing lines onto it, divots, and you name it down the road. And I know they've changed onto it over time with it. because I could sit there and think about grading with Beckett in 2015, and they were very lenient on some stuff with Topps Chrome. Nowadays, they're not so lenient anymore onto it. So, I mean, the stuff has changed. It's also, every grader, everybody's going to know, has their own opinion onto it. That's what your card is. It's a graded opinion of somebody else. It's supposed to be a professional in the field. Whether or not they have credentials, qualifications, whatever makes them do it, we're paying them to do it. So, that's why I tell people, buy the card, don't buy the grade. It's great if you can find a PSA 10, you're happy with the way that card looks as a 10, then buy it. But if that 10 looks like it should be a 9 or an 8, don't buy it. Look for the next 10. I got to have a serial number. You might not have many options out there, but I
Yeah.
move on to the next one.
Yeah. So, what card show trends have you been seeing?
Well, show trends have been really different recently. I've been a seller at one about a month ago, and I went today and bought. I've had a lot of talk with the Dallas show because, as you know, I've been contemplating on going and loading some high end stuff, and I'm kind of glad the market is where it is now because I'm not going to do it. But what I've been getting at, football has been huge. Whether it's my two local shows that are probably about maybe 40 minutes to an hour apart from where one is to the other. A lot of people at the first show was Rodgers, Jordan Love heavy. Now at the Dallas show, people were chasing Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, and Love. So it gives you something to think about there. Now, I also know people were big on the UFC Prism and the F1, and even today, people are still buying that stuff. I'm just not sold on it. I got its first year and everything, but they also made retail of it. I'm just not sold on it. The other thing that was really interesting is Zion at shows. People aren't selling them because they're in too much for them. The guy I talked to today showed me he had Zions behind the table, the regular Prism PSA 10s. He showed the sticker on it, $700. I'm like, man, they've been selling it like there's been sales on eBay at $440 for them. It's a huge drop. He wants to buy him now. And I think, if you want to buy a Zion's it's time now, but I'm not saying go buy a base Prism. The pop reports are stupid, but if you could afford an autographed or a numbered card of him right now with the prices down where they are, I would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that, I've noticed is vendors are not using the new comps at all when they're pricing their stuff. They're still using old comps. And I think they're like, oh, this is just, a couple sales. No, if you look, we've been turning down for a while. And with that, if you're not using current comps, you're not going to sell nothing because they want to buy a current comps, but they don't want to sell their stuff because they're in too deep. And, today was a perfect example, and I'll have the video out Tuesday. I worked with the guy down there onto the deal that I did, and it was fair overall for raw cards. And this is the only time you guys ever hear me buy raw cards at a show because I could see them unless I know the person that pulled them. And I trust them looking over the card for me. But that's been like the biggest thing is that there, and people, you can have stickers on your cards. Say I had a Zion up there for 450, and they've been averaging probably about 480-ish. Somebody's still gonna come to me and be like, hey, what do you take for it? Yeah, 440, that's what's on. I'm already below, I'm at the lowest comps. I'm not going any lower. Everybody's out there because it's nothing against the YouTubers out there that make these big deals. And you show them on your YouTube channels, but you have these young kids going around thinking they're the next like Sasha T. They think they're him. You're not. He's been doing this for a while in the flipping game. He's good at what he does. He brings great content out there to everybody, but you can't come out there thinking you're gonna, act like him in front of everybody you're going around to. And that's a big issue because people are thinking that all these big deals, that's how you do your deals. It's not. It's about building a reputation with who you work with at these shows. Because the next time, say that guy drives back the 3.5 hours to next month's show and I go down there and he still has those Kobe Topps rookies that are on grade, I'll probably buy them. And you know what? He'll probably give me a deal because I've already spent a good chunk of money with him. And that's something you can't teach anybody, is to build reputations with each other. It's not being always trying to get over and trying to make the deal. The days of making big turnarounds are over unless you hit it out of the box. Right now, if you're buying raw and grading, you got to hold it, because really we can't grade much out there with the top, two companies out there to have a big flip. If you're now making, after you grade a card, say I buy a $150 card, it grades out a PSA 9, and we'll just use the average multiplier like 1.45 onto it. Just say it goes up to 225, 240 during that time frame. So I've already bought it at 150. I'm in $30 onto it, say for grading it. That's 180. I just made $45 profit. That's the old days, like 2-3 years ago, what you were doing, but you had to do it 30 or 40 times to see some big money out of it. And everybody's all expecting, these big profits onto it, or hey, I want you to cut me a deal, your $10,000 card for eight. Ain't happening. There's no way. Why would I do that? I go on my slabs, sell it for $9,500, pay my slabs 90. What is that? $95.
1%.
Yeah, $95, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, $95 to them, and I'm still getting more money than what you're offering at my table. It's horrible way the things are going when people are trying to push their deals because they want to make so much money. It's greed. It's pure greed. People won't use that word though.
Not just that, it's the 24-hour comps that everybody wants to use, because basketball, it's a daily market. It changes daily. I mean, it all depends on how that person's doing. I mean, the price changes so quickly on stuff now. It's not even funny. It's crazy, because 1 minute a Luka could be $800. He goes out and has a bad week. It drops all the way down to $600. So everything is, it's just, I call it the 24-hour market now. That's how everything is. It all depends on what that person did the night before. Not like it used to be, where it's like we went by seasons, or we went by all-star break, or we went by months. No, now it's a 24-hour market.
And Chris said it right there. He said we're in a now generation. Everybody wants to get rich now. They do.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching videos where guys are making these big deals, they're not showing you their losses. Nobody on here will talk about their losses or show you their losses. They show their investments, or they show you what they've been buying into, because you know what? I got a YouTube channel and I got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 subscribers. If I say I've been buying these cards, people are going to go buy them, and now mine that I already invested into are going to jump up. I could flip and make money. It's a smart idea. I mean, that's why I don't like saying what I'm buying into, because I feel bad if people would go out there and buy them higher than what I do, and then the stuff dips down.
Email Eric the link. Yeah, Chris, you're right with the crypto as well. Everything, it's just everything's a 24-hour market now, and so it's kind of hard. A lot of these, they don't want to at card shows. They're afraid to drop a price because they're afraid the next day it could shoot up $25, but they don't realize it could actually drop down another $50 the following day. Everything is, like you said, a now market, and I agree with that. It is a 24-hour.
Or does he want the YouTube link?
The YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with that. It's just a now market. What can you do for me now? What can the price do for me now? I don't have 48 hours to move something. I got to move it now. That's just it. That's how the new people in this hobby are doing. That's why you see so many ripple effects in here. Hey, there's Eric. It's just I don't know. I don't. Yeah, he's here. What's up, Eric? It's just I don't know. It's just weird how everything is. It's not like it's not like the old days where we used to wait monthly for Beckett to come out. Remember that? Oh, what's the price this month? What's the price this month?
And then you had like Tough Stuff and Sports Card Trader. It would come out
Oh
right
yeah,
before them, and you knew Beckett was going to have completely different prices than those two. I mean,
oh
I
yes.
still remember those, all three price guides, because everybody used Beckett, and if you had a
Oh,
subscription, you got it a
remember
week
these?
earlier.
Remember these?
Oh yeah, the yearly ones that.
The almanac, the
Yeah.
Bibles, as we used to call them. Yeah, those are non-existent anymore. Everything's. I mean, I remember being a kid going, "Oh, I got to go to the card shop. The new Beckett came out. I got to get a basketball, a football, a baseball, a hockey one." And I used to collect comics, so I used to I got to get the Wizard price guide. It's just now. It's just. It depends on what you do that night before. I mean, Jason Tatum goes out and hits 50. His market really didn't move, which was surprising because he hit 50 in a playoff game, or he hit 50 the night before. But we didn't see a big jump in Tatum, which I was surprised because I like Tatum a lot. But if Zion goes out and gets a triple double, sky's the limit.
Yeah. Ryan Leaf rookies. Well, I got rid of my Ryan Leafs. I traded in for Tim Tebow.
I'll trade you. Oh, hey, come on. I'll trade you Ryan Lee for Jamarcus Russell. How's that one? How'd that one work out?
Tebow.
Shut up.
Hey, just so you know, I think we're like a 20-second delay for YouTube. Zoom has it that
Yeah.
way. Like the
Yeah.
normal. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing I just don't like is that if we're going to have a standard out there, let's just use the average of the last, depending. I got with the sports and stuff like that, but use the average comps. It's not hard to look at like 5 or 6 comps and come up with a price in your head. I got it. Now there's some cards that will sell for 150, and I think that's because somebody has negative feedback, whatever it may be out there. But if you look at the average, everything else, they're between 300 and 400.
I'm
That's
sorry,
what you
Chris.
go
You
with.
have
It's
tons of
350.
Jamarcus Russells. I'm sorry, Chris. You have tons of Jamarcus Russells. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have that.
Tebow's coming back. I know he's coming back.
What's up,
Tight
James?
end.
Yeah, I know. He's coming back at tight end. He's gonna get lit up. He's gonna get lit up. But I just hope he holds his own. But he's gonna get lit up.
I do too. I mean, I got what he's doing. I understand it. Good luck. Going from quarterback to quarterback to broadcaster to minor league baseball player to tight end. Hey, good luck.
He's gonna get his shit knocked around a little bit. I guarantee. He gonna feel it. He gonna feel it. But hey, you gotta give him credit for trying. That's all you can do. I mean, heck, shit.
Yeah, for sure on that. So a lot of people have been throwing out the term soft market. And I know there's different meanings floating out there onto it. The way I look at a soft market, it means that things have dipped in price and they're starting to stabilize out. Now, there's still a lot of room for stuff to go down. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, okay. You see, there's a lot of room.
I was reading Troy's. Yeah, you would pray that little you would pray that black little triangle was pointing up instead of pointing down every month.
Yep. That's what I started laughing at when I read it.
I
got the iPad in front of me, the computer screen. I got this on the main one. So the other one I wanted to update for an hour and a half or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But
what interview are you talking about, Chris? Interview with Trevor about him. Oh, Trevor Lawrence? No, I didn't know I didn't see the interview. I'll have to look it up. I know you're bullish on Trevor Lawrence, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
I won't touch him. Not the prices of this boxes cost and everything else. If we were talking and score came out $120 a box and draft picks, I think Jacob told me is it $300 a box or something, or they sold out on Panini's website at $300 a box. No, the Contenders draft just came out. It's stuff like if Contenders draft was still like $150 a box, I'd be golden to try for it. But when you're talking double the prices, his case today, no knock, Jacob, if you're watching this, it was horrible. Back in the day, 2016, I started breaking Contenders draft. This is no joke. You had Trubisky, you had Watson, you had Mahomes. I pulled all 3 rookies in multiple cases, like each rookie in each case. Heck, there was uh, a box that had a Deshaun Watson 101 autograph and a Deshaun Watson out of 10 autograph in. Next box had a Mahomes out of 10. But you don't have that anymore because they've added so many players. I mean, back in the day, Wormley, we used to joke around. You get like 10 Wormleys in a case. Whoever had the whatever team Wormley, I think it was the Ravens guy or something. You were definitely getting autos.
Eagles fan, PSA shutdown really hurt the prices, especially all of my old boxes. Which old boxes are you talking about? All depends on what product. I don't know which boxes, but I don't think PSA shutting down really hurt box prices. I mean, yeah, you're not able to open them or move them, but I don't know if how much it really hurt it.
It can in a way because if you went out there and you say 18, 19, 19, 20 stuff basketball, same with 18, 19, 20 football, the prices of those boxes have gone down. So you can't really open them to make the bang for your buck like you were. So where you were chasing stuff to maybe able to flip. Now I don't know how long you had the boxes for, but say you bought 18 stuff in 19, then you saw the big increase. Holding them boxes was smart because you wanted to wait till later to open them up. My thing is, I want to, because with PSA, I want to open up early because I don't want to have to hold them boxes and then have to spend $1,000 to grade a card when I can grade it at $100 or whatever it is for um, regular when it comes back.
What do you think the price of PSA is going to be when they reopen? Do you think they're going to go up a little bit? I think they're going to go up like probably $5 per on each one. Because wasn't okay? So what? Modern was at 20. Ultra modern was 25, right? If I'm not mistaken. I can
Yeah, I'm
see
pretty
I
sure.
can
I'm reading a comment about something. Whatever sighting you're asking me about, I heard the Tooth Fairy and Bigfoot talking about it earlier today, and the last time I heard, there was just rumors.
thought the Easter Bunny wasn't on that too.
He might have been. I mean, I was just having me the Tooth Fairy and Bigfoot onto it, but yeah, I mean, the prices did go up on PSA stuff onto it to where you can't grade out. You can't really say grade out of box anymore because now you're guessing a lot of stuff.
Well, people can still send it. They just can't send the PSA Eagles. I mean, you can still send Beckett. I mean, if you want to use SGC, if you want to use some other companies that I'm not going to name because they're not worth my time. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, people can't send a PSA unless
Well, if you really look, at one time frame, and if he's talking about older boxes from the 80s and stuff, so during the hype of the market, they shot up. Even the 90s stuff. Now, if you look now I'm not talking 93 SP stuff like that there, because those are just always going to stay crazy high because
Yep.
limited production. But it did hurt the market on those boxes for resale value on those boxes because people can't open it to hurry up and grade and flip those cards and get those massive tens. I mean, look, we just talked about the Bo football score, black and white from baseball, right?
Oh,
A
the
PSA
shoulder
9
pad.
was,
Yep.
you sold your PSA 9 when it was like 150 in value, right? Somewhere around
Mm-hmm.
there. There was
Yep.
one of my slabs for $90. It just sold. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was 90 or 80. So it
Yeah.
shows that stuff has gone down in value because you just can't do it at all. PSA
Yeah.
increases prices when they open. I think that the prices that we see now on their website are going to stand for the time being. If PSA opens up July 1st, it's only going to be express and possibly regular. Express is picking up some steam to where they can afford to open that one back up at the 150 a card. It used to be 75 before their increase, so I don't think they're going to jump 75 over 150 onto it.
PSA is
But
going to get hammered. They are going to
okay,
get hammered. They are going to get really hammered when they open back up. Regardless of what they open up, they're going to get hammered. They open
well,
up regular or express, or they open up anything. Yeah.
I am not using GMA at all. I use PSA for almost everything in my cards. They're, higher value. If it's a thick stock card that I didn't pull myself and I'm worried about, it goes to Beckett and I pay the money. But it's a big card. I'm not like just grading anything crazy now. Now, anything that I have that I think that I either want to move currently or I want to be the first in on to have grades, I'm using GMG. CSG is good, actually. I like their slabs. The part I don't like is that if you want subgrades, it costs you $10 extra on top of what you're already paying. They have some good memberships and everything like that. I value them very much because of their comic books and that. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to stick the route right there. SGC rubbed me long
Yep.
with their customer service. I don't care how they've changed and fixed it, and how great they are now since sliced bread. I'm done with them. I want nothing to do with it. I'm probably one of the very few people who are going to say I'm not a fan of their slab and their label. Their
What's up, Goody?
slab needs to be a little bit smaller because I can tell you now, if I try to slab that, put that in that tough case that I bought, the one I showed you for carrying, it has the foam inside that I bought. The slabs are thicker and it's rubbing up against it to where it's messing up the insides. So that's why I don't like the slab itself. It's because it's too wide and it doesn't measure up to being the same as Beckett and PSA when you're trying to put it into that stuff to carry it around at shows.
Yeah, Eagles fan, the 89 low boxes. Okay, so if they're searching for the Griffey, I get it. Griffey in a PSA 10 is a tough one to get. I mean, the pop. No, the 89 upper deck.
It is because of that logo on the back. If it has any
the little diamond sticker.
It, yeah, if it has any chipping or any marks on that thing, you're done. You're already down a 9, maybe an 8.
Yeah, because a couple months ago, actually, I was looking into getting a PSA 10 because I think they're around 2,400. I waited too long, then they went up to 3,200 in a PSA 10. And then I haven't looked lately of what they are. But
I guarantee you they dropped because the 89 Don Russ Griffey went from 1,000 to like 500. I think it's 450 now even. So I'm sure the upper deck dropped too because it was that initial spike where everybody wanted it, and now it's leveled down. At 89 before was like around 250. CSG is actually awesome. I like CSG. I don't want to. I'll be honest. I just don't want to pay $10 for subgrades. I don't think that label for CSG is made for not subgrades. It's just too much blank room in there. That's the only reason why. I will probably use CSG, to be honest, on some mid-level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I won't send them more low level or high level at all, but there's some mid stuff that I've been thinking about putting an order in on with them. Overall, from what I've heard at the big shows, people are pro. I just lost the name. CSG. So many dang acronyms of companies out there. They're pro it, and that's a positive thing for the whole hobby collectors universe, whatever you want to call us all out there anymore. That's a positive thing.
I just got my GMG ordered today. I'll be making a video on them. It's another company that I like. I'm still using PSA. I'm using Beckett for my raw auto authentication. And those are basically the 3 that I'm using right now for anything. I haven't given CSG a try yet. I am not opposed to it, but I haven't. And other companies, I'm not even going near touching. I'm not even going to send them anything.
So I'm going to hit Troy up here real quick. So I'm reading his thing about that weekly analysis. And I think that's the thing you sent me before.
Yeah, I sent you that. The one he gives you the data of how many cards.
When you look at his data and he's saying they're pushing out 140,000 a week, it's not 140,000 cards. There's tickets, packs, and all that stuff. Have they made a big jump and increase of overall everything they do, autograph certification? Yes. I think they're with the backlog, they're not going to catch up on bulk or value, whatever you want to call it now, for a while. I see regular economy coming back, express and up being caught up, and I think the bulk is where they're just going to cut out for a while, which is a good thing because we're not going to grade all of our base rookies unless you want to spend a minimum of like $50 on it.
Well, we talked about it. Whenever they do bulk, they're going to need to cap it. If you are a bulk submitter and you're authorized to be a bulk submitter, they need to cap it, give you only a certain amount instead of just being like, yeah, it's open to just send in whatever you want. I think they no, I think they seriously need to just cap it at a certain amount, like monthly, bi-monthly. It's however they want to do it, but they need to cap the bulk submitters because that right there, people are sending in 5,000 cards at a time.
Hey,
So,
Ziggy, appreciate you coming in. I
hey,
wanted to get
Ziggy,
you
what's
out
up,
real
man?
quick because he was getting ready to head out. But when you're talking with the cap, okay, so here's where I see the issue being at. I pay my whatever $99, $200 a year, depending on what level I buy into a PSA. The group sub guys get to have preference. I mean, are they paying PSA to be a group sub person? I don't know the answer to that question. That's just me asking out loud. But I'm paying money for it. Why am I getting put on the back burner? Well, guess what? All these group sub guys, I keep hearing complaints that they're not getting their 8-day subs back from in December. I just did an 8-day sub. It's called Super Express, and I got it back in time. So it shows maybe they're giving that favoritism back. The caps do need to go in place by account. So, for example, for a regular person buying into a PSA membership to do bulk, cap them 250 a quarter. I know it
Yeah,
sounds low, but 250 is actually a lot of cards to do a bulk. And I
but
think if you cap that, you're going to control it. It sucks. And you know what could happen is I could be like, well, I'm married. Here's my wife, Brenda, and here's my daughter, Julie, or whatever. I'm just making names up. I'm going to make them all counts. Limit one per person per household because then you got to get creative and go buy a UPS store box or PO box. I
yeah.
think if you do that, you control the flood in the market. You also control how much your group sub guys can do. And I think that's going to suck. They're going to hate me for saying, I know they're going to hate me for saying that, but you cap them per quarter as well, too. We
Mhm.
control the flow in and out.
Yeah, it's just because when you're sending so much in, it's going to let PSA be able to catch up and do every service that they can at a timely manner. I mean, yeah, I mean, I know they hired tons more people and everything. They got old departments, but you can't have 65% of your staff doing bulk and the other 35% doing the others.
No,
It's
and see,
just,
when they took away economy, they were, they're almost caught up completely on economy. They moved those people and shifted them around to help out Express and Super Express. I really think knockout bulk don't even bring value back until after Christmas. I know it sucks hearing something like that. I would love to send more value in myself, but I say knock it out until end of the year. If you got to extend everybody out another 5, 6 months or whatever it is on their thing, so be it. Do it, get caught up, cap each account 250, whatever they think is fair out there. Cap your group submitter guys too, how much they get send in per month or per quarter. They hit it, that's it. And
no,
that's how you control the volume and you control all that stuff coming in to where you could process on turnaround times. You can't control what people are sending in, but you can control your turnaround.
with PSA's new infrastructure, can they handle it when they come back? If not, why not? Do I think they can handle it? Honestly, I don't think PSA is ever going to be able to completely handle it. Will they be able to do better than they did? Yes, because they got a bigger building, they got more employees, they got more staff. They're going to be a little bit more better. The problem is when it got leaked out that they're changing their prices, they got hammered hard because people knew they're changing their prices. So it's just, I honestly think, I think they'll be okay, but I don't think if out of 100%, they'll probably be around 75% being able to get stuff out quicker, I should say.
Oh yeah, well, they leaked that out. That hurt themselves. I'm just
Yeah,
looking through here on some of the comments. Beckett's really screwed up my. I've had that happen before too, and the sad part is it took forever to get back, and luckily, I sent him back to somebody that lives down there, was a bulk submitter, and he had my stuff taken care of. So I understand the pain. I hate when that happens, to be honest. And there was another one on here. Did you just answer the infrastructure one?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. The doors. I'm trying to remember what. Oh, there it is. Prices will probably jump when PSA gets sorted. I think they'll offer if they're not making their goals in order to get the money and income in to pay all these new employees. I could see them releasing, not lowering prices, but saying, hey, flash monthly special on this here, just so they can get some orders in and some stuff up. If PSA comes back at a crazy price for bulk, they'll really hurt the market. They will. And if they really don't want to grade that stuff because they're all about with this new management or new ownership, and they just want to do more of the higher end things because of collectible and everything else, then so be it. They just need to say that off bat, not have the hopes of everybody out there. We could flood other people with all of our lower end stuff day in, day out. Hopefully they can handle it. And I know SGC is caught up. I know that's the other comment I seen I was trying to find on here because I'm looking at my smaller iPad here. I just can't use them. I mean, with the experience I had and the way they sent these emails to me, I was like, this is poor customer service. Maybe they fired all those people and stuff. But the other option was why I don't use them is because their slabs don't fit in my slab case. So there, what I have is already pre-cut for both Beckett and PSA. They both measure out width correctly. SGC is a little bit thicker, and when I'm trying to shove it in there, I'm messing up the foam in there. So I just won't use it for those two reasons. The foam thing's just an ad thing, but was their customer service originally. I mean, we could sit there and, what I always thought was funny was HGA 10 days means 10 days. Yeah, okay, 14, 15 days. But then you see people come in and say, well, it's only a couple extra days. No, they put out 10 days is 10 days. They were hitting against PSA and Beckett. That was their jab at them. Guess what? You can't withhold to your standards. Not my fault that people are now calling you out about it. It happens. You want to make a statement like that. You got called out and now you can't produce it. Sorry. I mean, it's
That's
the age
kind of
of
like what happened
social
with
media and the
FGC.
internet. You're going to get called out for something you say.
That's just like SGC. When they came back and when they got bigger into the hobby, they're like, bring it on, we're ready to go. No. I sent them a bulk submission of 100 cards, and it took 95 business days to get back. When they were like,
I was in
it
the
was
high
bad.
90s
It
too,
was
and they
bad.
said it was supposed
behind.
to be 60.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, hey man, I didn't even hit him at 60. I waited till I was in the high 70s. He's like, oh, well, we have to look for your order, the processing queue, this and that. I'm like, well, are you using the eSAPI? What are you using out there for your thing? And the guy was like, I'm just curious. What's your process? If you have it by day, what's received by what type, either 10 day, 30 day, whatever day it is, it's not a hard process. It's not rocket science. I used the excuse, well, we just got a new building. I'm like, that's not an excuse. You got a new building, congrats. I mean, on it, but hey, we want our product. I'm just looking through here. I could be really good for vintage. I did like it for it with the older label. The newer label just makes it just look too retro, I guess, or modern or whatever for me. If they still had the older stuff, I would like it.
I can give a company some leeway if they say, oh, it's 25 days and actually becomes 45 days. I can give you a little lenience on that, but from 25 to 95, no. That was like 70 business days of what's going on. I no. Yeah, Troy, 502, not using HG anymore. He's all, like you said, he was getting what, 80% 9. He wasn't banking on 10s. He was banking on some 9.5s.
I don't know. Everybody's subjective on how they grade cards. You send me stuff you think is going to be a 10. I show you it's going to be a 9. Is he that good at reviewing cards? I don't know. He's only been in the hobby for so long. I know him from living out here and talking with him at shows and stuff. I don't have that type of communication where I could say, yeah, this dude's on spot when he reviews and grades his cards. I don't. I have no idea onto it because a lot of the stuff he does is group submissions and other people are looking their stuff over. So I don't know, but yeah, he's not using it anymore. I don't blame him. I wouldn't use them either onto it, especially with, we can't find your order. And like, what is it, 2 or 3 days later, he's like, hey, did you find my order? They should have been following up on him and providing him good customer service onto it, and they failed to do that.
Well, considering that he actually brought them business, you
He
know,
did by
if you
showing.
bring someone business, you should kind of take care of them a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit more than everybody else, considering that he was one of the ones that recommended your company and he wanted to get you guys going.
I don't think because if you recommend a company, you should get privileged on anything. Okay, but I do know from if I was a business owner and I saw that one guy who's out there promoting my stuff and now all of a sudden isn't getting good customer service, that I would really look into it and be like, why are we not taking care of this guy? He shouldn't
Yeah,
be, I don't want to say he shouldn't think that he's owed that, which he doesn't think he's owed that.
no,
But at the same time frame, as a business owner, I would want to take care of that, nip it in the butt quick.
oh
I
yeah,
know a
oh
lot
yeah,
of people thought his video was more that he was privy to that. It's not.
yeah,
He was
no,
using it as an example that, you know, if he was a business owner and he owned HGA, he would have rushed to that because, hey, this dude makes videos on us and he pushes good content. We need to really find out where we're screwed up at right now and fix it.
well, like you said,
And maybe it
he
didn't
didn't
come
ask for
across
anything.
that way to a lot of people, but that's how I took it, as him saying it. It may not have come across. I mean, communication,
Yeah,
you got to have a two-way thing. You got to have feedback to come back and make sure there's a response after that feedback both people understand. When you're doing YouTube videos and you're just recording it, you might not get your message across right. I don't think it did come out right to a lot of people.
well, like you said, he didn't get anything for them. He didn't ask for anything from them. He just liked their service and recommended them. And like you said, he brought him a lot of business. He said he didn't get no special treatment. He didn't ask for no special treatment. He didn't ask for anything in particular. But like you said, as a company, he does put out content. He did push us in the right direction. Even if he's not asking for anything, they should have been like, oh no, we need to take care of his stuff for sure
Yeah,
because
and
of
he
what
was
he's done
speaking
for us.
as if he was the business
Hmm.
owner of HGA, and that's why I
Yeah,
think it got misconstrued at. And I think that's why he took the videos down, to be honest, too, because there was a backlash onto it because the message he wanted to get across did not get out properly onto it. And
yeah.
you think you watch your own video, you retape it 4 or 5 times, and you think, hey, this makes perfect logical sense to where my information I'm going to put out is going to reach and it's going to be understood. Then you're like, oh man, people still didn't get what I got. Now you're getting, oh, I don't care about thumbs down and people, trolling the comments and stuff. I just, usually mute them or you're banned from the channel. I don't need that stuff for right now. But, when with him though, totally different concept. Some of these guys take that to heart because that's what they do is make YouTube videos constantly. I mean, I have a day job. I don't rely on, people watching videos. My thing was always about getting the right content out there to assist people. Whether I get 1 million subscribers or whatever, it was cool. I said, I hope my goal was to 5,000 subscribers end of the year because I want to get out information to people. And that was the whole thing with it all. Someone have a bad day or hang on. Okay, yep. And that could be a factor, Chris, is somebody has a bad day, the quality of your card, it's just
Yeah.
human nature onto it. It sucks. I've had it happen a bunch of times and I've resubmitted it and hey, that person got it and they gave me what I thought I should have had on the grade. But every time we crack cards out, and I know I brought this up before, say I crack my 9 3 or 4 times to get that 10, I just screwed the pop report up big time. And if I do it that way, imagine how many other people are. That's why the pop reports take it with a grain for salt, but you have a general idea on to where you're at because there's so many people who will keep cracking that thing until they get a 10. Let's just look here.
Tampa, we're talking about 502 Frank. He he had a video. Well, he probably took it down.
He
That's why
did.
you
It's
can't
not up
find it.
no more.
Yeah, yeah. He sent in cards to HGA. What was it? 4 or 5 cards to get done. And on the website it says 10 days means 10 days. Like he said, the jab at PSA Beckett, 10 days means 10 days. Well, he didn't get him back for 15 days. and they kind of gave him the runaround like, "Oh, we can't find your order. It's lost. We'll find it." Blah blah blah. He got upset with that, but he also got upset that with that company, he's gotten more nines than anywhere else. Like he was saying, 70 or 80% of what he sends in are nines. But he did specify when I send it to their companies like Beckett, SGC, HGA, I'm not expecting tens because they're harder to get. I'm expecting 9.5s. Well, which PSA, they don't have a 9.5. They have a 9 or a 10, so he's expecting more. He's expecting tens than nines. He did clarify that.
Yeah, he did on that.
But like he said, he even said, he didn't ask for any special treatment, but he just flat out said, your website says 10 days and you didn't deliver.
And I know John said earlier, who does HGA have working for him? Well, it's a guy who used to work for PSA, runs the place. But other than that, working for him, a computer software program, from as much as I can understand. I mean, I don't know. I keep hearing all about their process and stuff like that. I have no idea what it is. They can't show me. So I don't know. Now with GMG, he actually showed us the computer AI, which I was very thankful for because it solved the mystery out there for a lot of people what's going on. Now, how they use that computer AI is different in each place. Some people just use the computer AI and they're probably passing it off, not worrying about what errors there were on there, or hey, this is a manufacturer default in every single card with this thing here, and they're just giving grades out onto it. So you got to really know and trust who you have grading your cards that's running that business. Are they knowledgeable? Are they putting forth the extra effort? Are we working, 80, 90-hour work weeks out there? Because we're looking at it. And that was the one thing I respected about GMG. We no sooner put that video out when I was getting ready to record, we were doing this second part of it. He already told me they started implementing changes off of the comments off the video. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. I mean, I wouldn't have expected something that quick. And that caught my eye even more, besides sharing all the AI with us that's going out there. And I don't think CBC got the new labels coming in, but he has changed the labels. Do have a Facebook business page now. So if you go on Facebook and type in Gem Mint Grading, their business page is up now and it shows the new labels on there. They're a lot better than what they were. I will say that.
I do got 3 cards that did come in with the new label, but the ones that I sent in have the older label. So, but the newer labels are fantastic. I really, really like them a lot. My buddy Brian, he got his 4 cards back there on the site. The Drew Brees and the Jordan look beautiful. Just the color coordination from the card to the label, very impressive. I liked it a lot. So,
I said in the video before when I did this, there's a lot of people that just hit me up on emails all the time to promote their product. I won't do it because half the time they're saying we'll give you 10% off of our subscription box and we'll give your viewers 5. I don't want to load a subscription box, aka Jabs. Nothing against Jabs, but he does get loaded boxes. I know that. That's how you get people to be enticed by buying this stuff afterwards. But I've been approached by many different grading companies, and the emails are either bland, and I'm like, I have no interest into it. But when you come out there and say, I want you to review our product and company, I don't care if it's good or bad. Oh, you just gave me free reign. That was the first thing that went on in my mind. I had the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, and I'm like, oh, I like this. I get to have free reign on whatever I think and say about it. I was like, that had me intrigued. It really did. If there was a selling point in that email, there was two. Well, one thing was that. And then when I replied back and said, can I send you some cards and I want to see how you grade them with the AI, and it was, yes, I can do that for you. I was like, all right, let's do this, because I'm not the only person out there that wants to know and see how this is done and how it works and be able to explain it. And what I like is that he just doesn't know about cards. He knows about printing because he used to run a print shop for the magazines and stuff, and that was awesome.
And another thing that you told me about the email, not once did he mention any other company but his own.
100%. I like that too. And I forgot about that. He did not say compare
Nope.
himself to HGA or not. Now, when we started talking, he was trying to explain the labels to me. And he said, we kind of look like HGA, but I don't want to say that. And I got it. That was the first time he mentioned there was no putting down PSA, Beckett, SGC, any of the other companies. I have companies that email me. That's all they did. They put down other companies. I don't want to read that. If you want to go do it on a gossip channel or a slander channel, go find it, because if I'm going to provide something to people watching this video, I want to make sure if my name's behind it, that it is, I'm buying into it. I mean, the thing is, if you think about what was those old infomercial channels? I was trying to think of the thing. Remember, like QVC and stuff. Like I know QVC
That's
still
still
around,
around. I
but
think that's still
they could sell
around.
you anything. And there was, I used to say, there's a sucker born a minute, because there's tons of people buying this stuff and it doesn't work and it's not good. Long term, short term, whatever you want to call it. And I always tell people, if you're going to get into a grading company, it's new, look it over, think about it. Do you see them being there long term, short term, or do you think by the end of the year they're going to be done? There's so many coming out. Reputation is key. And if you're willing to really put all your chips on the line, like GMG really did, I gave kudos to that. And I mean, I know it kind of sounds like I'm showing favoritism to them and stuff in ways onto it, but really to sell me on something's pretty hard offhand, because I've been through a lot of bad deals, bad buys through the years of fake cards and stuff like that, to where people are like, oh, hey, I got this repack product and it's going to be hot. And, we buy into and break it for people. And that's where I'm really getting into the scam piece onto it. It was horrible. It wasn't even a 50% buyback in there. I was at least expecting, if I was spending $1,000 on a case, that, man, I should be getting at least $700 back onto, and they were horrible. So why would I promote your product when I can't even get anything onto it? I mean, I know it's a gamble and stuff across the board. You guys remember QVC used to sell baseball cards back in the day. You
Oh
had that
yeah.
dude on there. He was famous. And he'd have like all these different grading companies on there and stuff that you never heard of. Like PSA wasn't there, and Beckett wasn't there, but they were just some weird things like, oh, this slab with this here, and hey, you get this and this and this all for $199, or 4 monthly payments of $69.99.
Yeah,
You're like, that
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
add up right.
I remember I remember the 91 Stadium Club where they had remember they were like the minted, the gold mint or the bronze mint, whatever they
Yep,
were.
yep.
They had that on there, and they were, this is changing. This is new to the card market. This is huge, huge, huge. And I'm just like
So dirty.
falling asleep.
My dad used to buy me stuff from QVC. They were on late at nights, and
Oh yeah.
he was really like the biggest push in, like, saying, I don't like he's always the word scam, but like, that's a scam there. Now he was having stuff to where he was giving out vintage cards back then with the orders and stuff. And my dad, because he grew up in the 60s, early 60s as a teenager, he liked the players, Mantle, Clemente, Maris, stuff like that there. And he'd be like, we're going to get this. And he would get it in. And,
Chris,
exactly.
WGS Kobe 24 karat gold rookie 24.99.
WGS, yes, that was one of them.
Home Shopping Network, they did sell cards too. Home Shopping Network and QVC will sell you anything. They will sell anything.
Oh, maybe it was Home Shopping Network that did it. I know it was one of the two, because it used to come on and we would sit there like my buddies. If it was on during the day, it could be beautiful outside and we could have girls in the swimming pool. No, we were watching this stuff because you were intrigued. They were salesmen, and that's what I look at all the time. I'm like, okay, what type? Here's a little back brief. So while I was in the Army 20 years, I did recruiting for 3 years. Let me tell you what, the hardest thing to do is sell somebody a life, a job, not a job, a lifestyle for 3 years. So when it comes to sales pitches, I've heard them all, and I just listen to them like, nah, I don't want anything to do with it. It doesn't sound right in my head. I'm done.
They were basically car salesmen on TV. That's what they used to call them.
Oh yeah, Derby, 5,000. That was actually
that was only 5,000 made. That's not a lot.
Like only 5,000 made, guys. There's only 5,000. These nowadays, if you say 5,000, you're like, what? Remember the old was it Dominator sets and stuff that were out of
Yep.
2,500 and stuff?
Hmm.
You were like, man, there's only 2,500 of these. Nowadays, we're like, man, there's only 10 or 99 of these out there.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. There's only 75 of these. There's only 99. There's only, yeah, 50.
Chris, you forgot a word before artist. That would be the word con.
Con. Exactly. Exactly. They would sell you anything.
Oh, they have them on YouTube. Those old videos. I'm gonna have to look for it now. He said they're on YouTube with those old videos. If you
Oh
guys haven't seen it,
no.
this stuff is priceless, priceless to watch because everybody was hooked on it. And luckily nowadays, some of those cards are worth some money out there, especially the vintage when they used to do the vintage deals where you'd get like one of these 10 mantles on here, and there was only like 25 of these things out there. And they were making the offers. You nowadays, you would be like, wow, that's a good deal. I'm
Wow,
gonna have to
20,
look for that now.
25, 2,500. Only 2,500. Only 10,000, guys. You better grab one while you can.
We only got 100 of these sets out there. There's only 70 left. The phones are ringing now. Pick up your phone, get it now. You guys can do this. 3 monthly payments. We dropped it to 3 monthly payments instead of 4. And
And
you're
if you
like, oh
act
man,
now, if you buy one, we will sell you another one at half off with free shipping. They were just like water. They didn't care. They just wanted to sell you anything.
my mom had an account there. That's the only reason why I got to use it because she used to buy stuff on it. And my dad because he would leave for working for Westinghouse, a nuclear engineer. And so he'd come back and there'd be like $1,000 on this credit thing. He's like, "What did you buy, boy?" And I'm like, "Nothing, bro. Nothing at all, bro." I'd throw the bro in at least once during the thing.
You know
But
what I miss? You know what I miss the most though? Going to just a supermarket or a drugstore and being able to buy cards. I remember going to just like a supermarket or like a corner store on the counter. I'll never forget, there'd be like a box of 90 Leaf. And I'm like, what's Leaf? So I
there
grab a
were
couple packs.
tons back then. I mean, I remember our little local pharmacy in my hometown used to have it in candy. That was a big thing. You go up there and buy candy. It was some penny candy, 2 cent, nickel candy, stuff like that. But I remember going up in there and him having it was a second year upper deck, and they were like 99 cents a pack. It
Hmm.
was great stuff.
There was a drugstore here in town called G&T Drugs a long time ago when I was a kid. And in the back, in the corner, they had glass display cases of cards, the old Star Classic cards and stuff like that. And then he had a whole wall of open box that you can buy packs. I mean, Score, Upper Deck, Don Russ, Fleer Ultra, Pacific, you name it, he had it all. And it was right next to where the VHS movies were, of all places. It was in like one spot. And then they had the magazines over here. So you'd walk over there and get your Beckett. You walk over here, look at the Beckett. What cards are going up? Oh, they're going up in this set. Let me go buy a couple packs. It was now, man. It's
Yeah,
just
like John just said, newsstands. I remember that. My buddy Brian, he's probably in bed now. He's either that or still at the bar, one of the two. But his mom worked at the local newsstand. She used to bring packs home all the time for him. And if we wanted them, we just pay her and she'd bring them home. It was a great thing. Derby, where you have the one-on-one Mike Trout, we only got 2,500 left. Transcendent. Just think that because Transcendent will do like 100 briefcases and there'll be 100 different one-on-one Mike Trouts in it. It's
yeah.
a common thing. Whoa, whoa, oh, cat's underneath
Hey,
there. I thought that was a dog. Whoa.
hold on. I'll be right back in a minute. I'll be right back in a minute.
All right. Yeah, I mean, really, the newsstands, the pharmacies, flea markets. Flea markets used to have people set up everywhere out there. I used to love going to the flea market and just going through because there would be like 10 to 12 card dealers out there and you could probably find some deals out there and they were always busy, busy. And they were always the dudes that had like the umbrellas up and stuff so the sun wasn't hitting their cards. It was great. Make sure I didn't miss anything else in the chat because I know we were trying to tag team through there. But till he comes back, just everybody's tracking. Tomorrow, you got another video be popping up with more Topps auto fakes, and then Monday will be a fake Trim Giannis rookie that's in a PSA slab.
All right, all right.
You can actually get retail cards at Target online now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You can get them on Target because they're not selling in stores no more.
I didn't know they already started. I knew that was where they were going.
Well, if eventually Panini and Topps are just going to make you buy it from their store online anyway.
I remember Sears. I remember KB Toy Store selling cards, even their own brand too.
Yep, yep. I actually have some over there. I got KB Toys, Toys R
Kmart had
Us,
their own too.
Kmart.
Remember
Kmart did. Yep, yep. Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Ames. Ames even had a series too.
oh yeah. Ames did. I never saw very much Ames. When I was younger, Classic was huge. Everyone wanted Classic.
It wasn't in my area, and see that's the thing is that like even with like card shows and what's hot, different areas, different things are always hot. So what might be popping where I'm at might not be popping where you're at. Like if you were guys were big on classic, I can tell you now where I was at in Pennsylvania, we used to see that stuff at every flea market there was, and nobody was buying it. Occasionally, the 87, if you could find a yellow or green set, it would sell. But when
Yeah,
you start hitting like 89, 90 stuff, well, 89 was orange, 90 was like
yeah.
that pink. Yeah, because it had Nolan Ryan was on the top of it. Nobody was buying it. I mean, it was dropping down like $5 a thing at one time onto it.
Well, everybody wanted the '89 purple and the orange because of Griffey's rookies in there. Um, they were one of the '87s if you had the green back instead of the yellow back. Um, yeah, even the '91 and the '90 because Frank Thomas cards were big and then Chipper Jones cards got big. I mean, people wanted classic around here, which was weird. It took a while for Leaf to take off, though.
We're in 2 weeks live auction. That'll be that Friday night. So 2 weeks from now. I grew up in Pennsylvania, John. I grew up in Latrobe, about an hour, maybe from Pittsburgh, roughly. Then I joined the army, and then I bounced to Hawaii, and I came back to Pittsburgh as a recruiter. But I was stationed out in there, Mount Lebanon, Century 3 Mall area.
I don't get the infatuation with silver cards and the hell are people paying absurd amounts for baseball optic? The product is boring with no career stats on the back and no logos. Optic, yeah, just being a Panini unlicensed product. Um, I like the cards; they're nice cards, but just no licensing does hurt their value tremendously. Um, Panini will never ever get baseball's licensing, especially when Disney owns Topps. Disney's going to pay top dollar for baseball. They got that sewed up. Um, the silver cards or the hollow cards, yeah, they're just flashy. They're just another word for a refractor. That's all it is.
If you look at Prism when it first came out, silvers were a lot harder to get. So, and back in the day, nobody cared about silvers. They were just a flashy card, but they were
Yeah.
harder to get than now. So now silvers are so plentiful across the board because we got them in every product we make, every retail and hobby. And people still love them because they're thinking back. Let me think. 18, 19 was probably when silver started getting a little bit bigger than what they were. 17, 18, they were but people started wanting them, and that's what they wanted flashy. Somebody that was popular out there, maybe Gary Vee, said I love silvers, and the whole world went crazy over them. I'm not a fan of them myself because they're not numbered and there's nothing special about them.
Yeah, Topps does put the stats on the back. They'll never stop doing that. That's kind of a staple for Topps. I mean, you got to put the stats on the back. I mean, some cards, yeah, you're not going to get stats on the back. I get it, but flagship Topps, you got to have the stats on the back.
Not Lebanon, the home of Kurt Angle.
Ah,
Good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
Ryan,
can't say I can't say I haven't bought optic baseball because I have. I'm not. I have a pink hollow Tatis rookie in an SGC 10 slab. Yeah, I have got, but it doesn't hold as much value as a Topps Chrome.
see where he buys it, I'm not a fan because it's not licensed. Now, with that being said, Panini Baseball, the one thing I would probably get into would be Flawless because of the game relics and the bat knobs and stuff like that. As far as Optic Select and Prism and all that other stuff, Don Russ, I'm not a fan because the licensing, it doesn't have a resale value for me. And the bigger collectors that would spend the money don't want it. And that's where it boils down to. Is it a nice looking card for somebody that just wants to be a collector and not a flipper? Probably. But as far as trying to make money onto or investment long term, it's just the big guys up there don't like it because it's not licensed, no stats and all that on there. Artie, yeah, this is a new thing. New thing I'm starting. It's going to be pretty much raw and uncut type deal where we'll come on, talk topics for a while, and then hit stuff in a chat. Just something different for a change offhand. Weekly, minus if I'm doing a live auction, we won't do one of these then. And if I have a card show, it won't be a Friday night, it'll be a Saturday night type deal. I hit about 3-4 topics each week. It's just stuff nobody was willing to talk about. If they do, they hint around at and will not just, come out there and be like, Selects is horrible. Panini ruined it. If a lot of people won't say it, I'll be the first out there. They ruined it. I didn't buy any of it. I got one hobby box. You want to buy into more? Heck no. Look at how many field levels are out there now in zebra stripes. We want to just don't even call them zebra stripes. Let's call them unicorn stripes. There's every color of the rainbow out there. They
Well, okay.
a great product.
Like I'll show you some cards that I've gotten from Select. These are all out of
and
blasters.
retail, but you
like
need to
silvers,
yeah,
silver. What do you call these? Purple die cut now. Different purple. These like purple die cuts. It's like a purple field level. You'd be lucky if you got one of these, like one per case. Now you're getting them in blasters and everything. You got all different kinds. I mean, and then they introduced the club level this year, which I'm like, I don't know why they wanted to add one more level.
Because they produced that, have something else in there.
Yeah, see a green one, red, white, and blue. These are the maroon ones. Then you got more silvers, and you have, they just put so many different colors, and only the maroon are Target exclusive. Only the purples are Walmart exclusive. I don't like how they do that. It's it's just more ways for them to get more money out of it.
It is. It's so overproduced that it's worthless. At the card show I went to today, everybody had out. I passed over it all, and I'd watch people come by, and they were like, well, how much do you want for all your Herbert rookies? If this would have been any other year where there was no retail, you probably could have got $30-40 for a Herbert rookie, Now, $5-10. I mean, they're so common, the concourses and stuff. It's horrible. Horrible. They ruined Select, and now Select Basketball is going to get ruined too. Prism and Optic started to get ruined because they're starting with all these other variations. Optic will get ruined. Prism is their bread and butter, just like Bowman, is to Topps.
Topps Chrome is kind of taking over for Topps. I think Topps Chrome is starting to become their bread and butter besides Bowman. I know people like Bowman, but to me, I mean, I love Topps Chrome. Love it.
And I was fine with it too, with the price increases. If they didn't increase price production onto it, I'd have been cool too. When you increase production like they did, done.
Panini can say that they're going to be contributing to a junk wax era that they are creating. They're just putting so much of it out there. It's just
they're required by their license to provide so much product per year. Okay, just like Topps is with baseball. What did Topps do? They're like, well, we'll make clearly authentic. hobby only. Let's make top Sterling, Bowman Sterling, bring that back. And it's kind of some is mid, some well, you figure Clearly's low end product, Bowman Sterling's mid, top Sterling, very high end, very high end. I think that's great because you can't buy it in retail market. And they thought before they acted, let's just not keep throwing stuff out, get greedy on money hungry. And the greed is so bad out there. It's just not the companies. It's just not the buyers and the sellers. It's going everywhere to flippers, to the old lady down the street that went into Walmart. She's like, "Oh, look, sports cards! I can make a fortune," And she bought up all the 21 or 2021 score football, thinking she's going to be the next millionaire. It's not going to happen. That's why the prices are going down immensely on a lot of stuff.
And I know that new score are really bad on corners, really bad on corners. So that's not going to be an easy set to grade.
Yeah, Topps Chrome used to always come out, Chris, at the National, and with that, it's actually being, I think, maybe it is being released. I know it's now like the first week of August. I have to look when exactly the National falls because I know it's usually like they might hit a little bit the end of July, beginning of August, but I think it's the following week after the National now Topps Chrome comes out. I'm almost positive on it, but I'll have to look at it. But yeah, that used to be the highlight of it all because you'd have No War Basketball would come out, Topps Chrome, Clearly Authentic, and Panini had another one. It was coming out that would battle with it all too. I took Topps Chrome and Optic for.
I mean, I know they raised the prices on Topps Chrome this year. Again, what was the price for a jumbo going to be? $650?
I forget what I told you. I saw that now. See, that's not the price. That's what the market, the blowout, and Leighton and David Adams come up with. I can tell you, Topps did raise prices on a distributor level to where, say, it's $250 now a box. We probably last year were paying $125. They doubled our cost. So when they did that, all these big, I don't call them distributors. I'm just going to call them retailers because that's what they are. They hike the prices up even more because they got to make their money. They like making that big flip. And that's where we're going wrong again because the market's soft. There's not big flips. There's very few going on out there with it. I mean, if you went out there and you bought a box of NT and you hit the LaMelo NT Logo Man Auto, yeah, it's a big flip. Big hit, huge. But how common is that going to happen this year versus the other years to where you're making them big profit gains per box? It's not. It won't.
I have a question for the chat. How should I word this? How invested are you in LaMelo Ball? What do you really think? Are you really invested in him?
Oh,
it's kind of a weird, because I don't know. I hear people say he's going to be great. I hear people he say, hey, he's going to be okay. I'm not sure.
well, the other issue though, Chris, with the LCS is buying direct, they're very limited on what they can get pre-order because breakers took the market from the LCSs because they can get rid of product quicker than the LCSs. It's only since the boom has LCS has been able to move a lot more product. I'll tell you now.
My LCS has raised their prices a lot on stuff. I mean, they got to make their money, but I was like, man, they ain't quite a bit.
Most of these guys are baseball in here right now. Baseball, football. To me, I'll tell you now, I think LaMelo Ball is overplayed. Is he the best out of the three balls? Probably. That doesn't really sound right, does it? The best out of three balls. I just thought about what I said there. But when you talk rookie card class right now, I think Anthony Edwards is better than LaMelo Ball. Will LaMelo Ball be good, a basketball player? Yeah. I don't think we're going to talk he's ever going to be top 10, all time, maybe even top 20 all time. He could have a good career with what he's doing. if he looks at what Zion did, changes his game around, and makes himself a better player next year, he could be a good player down the road. If I
Okay, so
was
we got. Go ahead. Sorry.
if I was to put on any rookie in this class, my bet was Anthony Edwards. I mean, my other one, topping one flopping. So, you know,
Okay, so we got a lot of baseball guys. What's the baseball player you guys are interested in right now? Besides like the major guys, Acuna, Soto, Vladimir's having a good season. What are you guys thinking or leaning towards? Is what I'm trying to say. Me, I was talking to Jason about this, and he's been kind of flying under the radar. Is that Adolis Garcia kid with the Rangers? He's tearing it up. No, came out of nowhere. I what like 2 3 weeks ago I got that Topps Chrome rookie auto numbered out of 499 for like $50. Now it's all the way up to 225. The kid's smashing right now. So who do I see in the chat? I see Shohei. Okay, yeah, Shohei. He's back and forth. Bobby Witt, Franco. Yeah, I agree with Witt. Franco. Yeah. A lot of you guys see it's a lot of prospecting. A lot of prospecting with baseball.
Artie, I agree. The LCSs did have to have a grind over the last 20 years. Breakers really pushed it in 2016 is where Dent started coming in to where they were able to break more cases. And by 2000 and 2018, beginning of 19, is when everybody and their mother got a license and it just went kaput. And whatever the LCSs could get, they were, they were happy, but they weren't getting the same amount as they were before because you had guys that were able to sit there and break 100 cases of flawless and et cetera like that. There's a whole bunch more baseball just popped up.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, what I like about it, there's a lot of diversity. A lot of people aren't collecting. Some of them are collecting some of the same, but a lot of guys aren't. That's what I like about it. You got Bobby Witt, Wander Franco, Harper, Arenado, Manny Machado. Okay, yeah, they are established. Adolis Garcia, Brian Hayes, Jared Walsh. That's interesting. Flaherty. It's hard to invest in pitchers. Bogarts and Devers, Manoa, Austin Martin, Blaze Jordan, Alcantara, Luis Garcia, Tatis, Trout, Acuna, Franco, Odor. Eh, eh. But yeah, I mean, that's what I like about baseball is diversity. Yeah, no one going after Soto. That's surprising right now. Soto's kind of like.
Yes, somebody said Mickey Mantle finally. Thank you for hitting vintage. All that. I appreciate. I've been waiting for somebody to say something vintage. What you're going after, and I was going to say, I don't trust the prospect market because it's so crazy. Look at Dominguez, Wander Franco prices, and all that. If I was to sell something right now, say I had your boat, I pulled a PSA 10 LaMelo and I got $4,000. I'm not invested in prospects. I'm buying vintage. Thank you. I was hoping somebody was going to say vintage because I was like, "What? You guys don't buy vintage anymore?" Because that was my first thought behind the whole thing onto it. But if I had to pick anybody in baseball I know you can't buy the rookies anymore because they're just stupid in price. Acuna and Tatis. I think long-term haul, they're good. You're not going to find a first bowman that you could afford. So throw that out of the way. But I think I throw away all their base rookie card stuff because that's going to turn into a freaking junk error thing type talk again. But I think if you went out there and bought numbered autographs, whether it's second, third years, I think that's a good investment right now, in my opinion. If I was to do it, I would. Me, I'm heavily more into baseball as into one-on-one bat nos, bat barrels, stuff like that, vintage. If I hit something prospect wise, I'll hold it, grade it. If I can make some money and put it back into vintage, I'll do it. He's more like buying and doing the newer stuff all the time than me. I mean, I buy it and get it, but I just don't really hold it as much. Let me see here. Yeah, a lot of people aren't going after Soto. I think it's because he hasn't really hit up a lot of home runs, hasn't been named on a lot of stuff. I think Soto is still a very good buy, and I swear, Kitty Kitty, if you touch that cord with your mouth, you're getting hit with a water bottle. Empty one though.
Another guy that I like, and he's starting to come around more and more and more. I like it's. I'm kind of big on Bichette. I like how where Bichette's going. So Bichette's a guy I'm kind of keeping a tab on. Um, I really like him. I was big on Lewis Robert. I was big on um, Yohan Moncada because Moncada he had a really good season before the COVID season. He was really good, so I went heavy on him. That's kind of bit me a little bit. Um, Eloy Jimenez. I mean, everyone was all hyped up on the White Sox. I was hyped up on Andrew Vaughn. So, I mean, it all depends. I mean, there's a couple of prospects that I'm looking at. I'm not sharing. I don't want you stealing them. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Like Taylor Trammell, he's good. He's a good young cat. I like him. So that's Mercedes. He came out of nowhere. So baseball, baseball is too hard to predict. I mean, yeah, you got the Tatis, you got the Acunas, you got the Sotos, you got the Trouts, you got the big names, but it's hard to it's kind of hard to pinpoint baseball, especially with pitchers. Pitchers, it's if I'm banking on one pitcher, it's still DeGrom. He's still young. I still like DeGrom a lot.
Hmm.
I bank on DeGrom. Flaherty's having a killer year,
I'll
which
try
I'm
to think
glad.
if somebody has like 5 or 6 years experience in the league and it's not brand new that's been
DeGrom.
consistent.
DeGrom's been around since 2014.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of his.
Two
He
Cy
might
Youngs.
have
How
maybe
can
had
you
an
not?
impressive year so far.
He's won two Cy Youngs with the Mets. Says a lot. DeGrom is a beast. Yeah, exactly, Chris. DeGrom is a beast.
It
He,
also deals with the teams he plays against too. So if you're looking at, if he's pitching against the right teams, his ERA is going to be low. I'd have to look at all that. I mean, I don't know. So if I was a pitcher and I'm like, say, like during the course of the year, I'm in the division with the Pirates, and sorry, I know I'm a Pittsburgh fan, but if I'm pitching against the Pirates, like 5 of my starting pitches, and I win them all with no runs given because they stink, does that really mean anything if they watch how they're pitching you, I guess, in a way, too? Because there are teams out there watch who they pitch against, too. Because if they do horrible, and the Yankees should have been one of the ones that did it because, who was the dude up there, the Japanese pitcher guy that couldn't really pitch against in the playoffs? And then if he gave a run up in the first inning, he was done. I cannot think of the name now.
Tanaka.
Yep, Tanaka. That's it. Yeah, the people were digging into big
Funny
time.
how I knew that one.
Well, I was trying to think here. It's been a while. I don't really do a lot of baseball anymore. If I like I said, for investment wise and stuff, I mean, I go after the guys I know are going to be there. They're down the road. Now, granted, Mike Trout could still go out there and do something stupid. You do something to a woman or even a guy, because we're in that day and age now. But I mean, he could go out there, kill somebody, be in a DUI, get caught with cocaine or whatever, and his whole career tanks. But I won't ever be heavy into it onto him.
Marcel Ozuna. Come on. That has to be a joke, Aaron. Ozuna is a sell. Pujols, yeah, Pujols, he's done after this year. He's a Hall of Famer first ballot. So there's if you're gonna buy Pujols, you might want to buy him now, but I know the window of his stuff was going up a lot a while back.
Oh, you should have
Um,
Pujols last year.
Pool holes.
Um,
Miggy Cabrera, he's on his way up, but he'll be a first ballot.
oh,
Uh,
Marcel Ozuna, he just came up on multiple domestic assault charges. That's what
oh
they're
well,
about.
oh he
And I was
gone.
like, I don't think he's talking about him being the guy to invest into it. I'm like, I think because I started talking about ruining your career, that's what they were referring to.
Oh, you mean like Felipe Vasquez, who's done? He's done. He's going to prison. Yeah, yeah. Remember that cat? He done. He done. But I didn't know anything about Ozuna. I didn't hear anything about that. But multiple, oof, woo. Pool holes in each real ship has sailed. Both are priced high. No doubt. Hall of Famers 3 years. So mad I didn't grab more about 2 years ago. Now this stuff is yeah. Pool
Artie,
holes
I
in
think
each
you're
row.
still safe in the buying into certain rookie cards of them right now. One, to find a PSA 10 from the year is very hard in a lot of the product. But at the show today, I almost bought a Pujols rookie, and I almost bought the
Let me see if I can
Pujols
find mine.
Ichiro traded. And I think the values have come down a little bit, not a whole lot, but I think there's still value there onto them. But I just didn't pull the trigger. Now, I don't think Trout will turn into anything bad out there, but I mean, you got people like Plexico Burrows that goes to the nightclub, shoots his leg. Next thing you know, he tanks. Then you get guys that go out there and beat their kids, their wife, their girlfriend, boyfriend, and everything else, and their stuff just tanks. That's why I said I try to stick with people. I mean, granted, Michael Jordan had a history, Kobe Bryant had a history out there too, but their stuff's still popular.
If I'm gonna grab any pool holes, and if it's gonna be a 10, I don't have a 10. I have a 9. I might. This is my personal preference. The upper deck reserve, because they're numbered at a 2,500. If you're gonna grab like a pool holes rookie, I like that. That's the one I picked up. I got a Beckett 9, but it's the Albert Pujols 2001 Upper Deck Reserve SP at a 2,500. I mean, you can buy the tops, you can buy the Bowman, you can buy the Fleer, you can buy the Upper Deck and stuff like that, but those aren't numbered.
Let me show
I
you
like,
my favorite cards. Let me flip my camera here.
I like that one. I think that's a sneaky one.
Where's my little settings? All right. Let me show you my new favorite cards. I'm not going to show them all. You guys have to wait for the video, but hold on. Let me show you my two new Jordans because this is why I start picking up Jordans. Well, not picking them up, but they're ones I don't have. That one, beautiful looking card. That's a new one today. And then I love the Infuego. Did not have this for my collection. Both pickups today. Great. He's already Hall of Famer. The only thing now that's going to happen is if, some more series comes out or he dies, where prices will go up. But Jordan rookies are actually now a real get down in value. If I was to
I
buy a
know.
rookie, I'd
That's
buy it now.
I know. I need to grab mine now. I don't have one. That's one of the ones I need to get. A Jordan. Oh, that is a nice Jordan. That is that the Prolifics? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Enfuego. I had the Shack. I got rid of the Shack. Those Enfuego cards are beautiful cards.
Boom, feedback. All right, here we go. I'm learning the features on Zoom. Yeah, I'm a Zoom Jedi. Zoom
See
Master.
what
It looks like the Pokemaster, Zoom Master.
See what a lot of people don't realize is I've been collecting since I was 7, but I really got into grading within the last year and a half. I know my cards, but I didn't really get into grading. I was more into autographs, raw autos. I guess you can say my PC is rookie Hall of Fame autographs. Like I got Nolan Ryan, Hank Aaron, Lou Brock, stuff like that. That's what I collected, and I still do. But getting into the grading, yeah, I see things a little bit more differently than I did when I was just doing my autos. So,
It's locked up behind me, Derby. I can't pull that one out.
so I mean, like John, he says Lou Brock is a sleeper. I actually have, excuse me, 2 Lou Brock rookie autos. Cards are not in the great condition, so I didn't get them graded. They're just certified, authenticated. So that was what my collection mainly consisted of. And like I said, now I'm doing more grading, but I still do the autographs here and there. So, but I don't think the value of my rookie Hall of Fame autos are going to go down. If anything, they're going to go up. So to me, that was more of an investment long term than grading cards now and moving.
Well, if you look at vintage, and if you ever get on a VCP, the vintage price guide, you'll notice on vintage it slowly increases over the years. Okay. You really don't ever see a dip. It's very occasionally that there is, and usually it'll pick back up and level out. What happened though during this surge, everybody was all into new stuff. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we should hit the vintage market. So vintage, like all of it went up. Nolan Ryan rookies, like you were getting for $200-300 a pop for like a PSA
Yep.
2 or 3, were now $1,000. So you had that high
Yep.
spike. So what I see with vintage, it's up high now. I think it's going to level down a little bit. There's going to be a dip. Don't get over crazy onto it. But if I was to buy vintage, I probably will hold off until maybe beginning of next year before I buy anything big and that's graded. Now, if it's raw and I can get it a decent deal and grade it later, I'd probably think about it because raw prices are still reasonable within a range. It's when you start getting into graded prices that starts going, I can't do it because I can go out and buy a raw, that probably will grade like a 4 or 5, or I buy like a PSA 2.5 for right now. And I know that because I just did a show and I almost did that because I was really close till I came to that other table today. Dang them. They could have made me go bankrupt today. Well, not bankrupt, but I could have really had a big, huge bill. Five
Well,
figures.
usually you don't buy a lot. Usually you're
I
kind of
don't.
like you're skimming through, but today it was burning a hole in your pocket.
I'll be
But
honest.
it burned a hole in your pocket for the right stuff.
When the market went up, was not a buyer. I was a seller. I was waiting for the market to go soft and then to go somewhere and buy again. Now, whether I would go out there, say I sold a Kobe Bryant PSA 10 for, I don't know, like $10,000, whatever the high point was. And if it's say now at $4,000, I could rebuy that same card and still have $3 or $4 in my pocket to rebuy into. So I never lost any money onto it. I just been sitting there holding. Now I've still gotten the breaks and probably a little bit more in the expensive ones, and I've still bought in some bigger wax boxes to open. But I'd probably say 70% of what I sold at the Lucas and that are still sitting in the bank account right now. And it's just I waited till it's the time for the market to where I can buy stuff, and it's gonna be worth it in the long run onto it because stuff will taper down, level out, and then we're gonna have player driven performance ups and downs. You might have like LeBron and Space Jam will push his value up, stuff like that coming out.
I
Then you'll
hope
have
that
Hall of
movie
Famers
bombs.
retire. Then you'll have a Hall of Fame retirees, stuff like that, deaths. But if you ever look, there's always the waves. I could probably see that investors, 5-10 years, maybe after this bubble really does pop a little bit more, they'll come back in because they're like, remember that time we bought in the sports cards and made all this money? Hey, let's go get all 40 of our buddies and do it again.
Yeah.
They'll do it because of greed and they'll want to do it and make the market. So I'm going to set myself up, and that if it does happen again, that I have certain stuff in my collection, and I'll just be like, go, gone, you know.
I think it's going to be
No,
an interesting,
yes.
I think it's going to be an interesting couple years to see how everything goes out. Because like I said, I see a lot of the new people jumping in are going to jump out or get pushed out. I would say they're probably going to get pushed out. And the ones that are going to stick around, I think the market's going to level out. And then Like you said, something's going to happen. It's just going to spike again. It comes in waves. 5, 6 years, it's kind of dormant and just kind of there. Then all of a sudden something happens and then it blows up for 2 years and then it'll go back down again. It's just if you're able to ride the wave, then you're good. A lot of people can't.
Two things. One, that Daffy Duck PC, if it's from Space Jam, the original movie, we used to mess around and tell people that they weren't so smart and they were like little babies for buying it. Look at some of the prices on that stuff now. It's funny, but they're up in price. But hitting what you were saying, so when you're talking about the ways of doing research, you can't always listen to everybody else. You can learn how they're doing it to get their information, but to be able to do it yourself is a hard thing to learn to do. You have to first separate yourself from a hobby person or collector and seller and all that stuff. There's all kind of separations. But to learn when to sell in a high wave, even if it jumps up a tad more afterwards, you might lose out in a couple hundred. But if once that thing tanks, and like Lucas Prism rookies tanked almost $1,000 from their high point, that's a lot of money these guys lost out there.
Mm-hmm.
To me or you, if we lost $1,000, that'd be a big thing. To some of these guys that have $1 million stuff out there, $1,000 ain't nothing. So I think that if people can learn how the market curves, how to access, okay, we're going up a good bit here, like stock market, but the thing with stock, it's a little more predictable than what a baseball or basketball or football player can do. So if you can figure out where you're at onto a card, price value wise, know that okay, we're up. I'm making a good bit of profit. It probably is going to go up more, but I'm going to sell here because eventually it's going to come back down. It will, especially when you see a card go 4 times the amount that it was in real quick. You know it's going to come back down, even if it goes up another 200% afterwards. You lost out on it. Look at the people now that are buying, base or not base rookies. I shouldn't use that. Are buying like the 90s and early 2000 rookies, which are harder because we as a collector back then, they were cool to have, but they weren't worth a whole lot of money. The Topps Fleer and stuff like that. We all wanted that special stuff that was in there. And that's where we were at. Same with the inserts. Whoever thought inserts were going to be crazy money, now they are. That's why it's harder to find them as 10s. And if you could find somebody that preserved them right, you can get some money onto it. But you got to learn how and where to basically learn that wave system and to understand it. I think I told you earlier, it was like 130 cards. I forgot how many lines were in there of cards that I've been watching for probably almost at least almost coming up 2 years, some of them. And I've been monitoring because I could hit the graph onto it and see where they're at. I don't need to go pay Sports Card Investor for his software or anybody else. I can do it all myself, tracking down the stuff, because the one thing he doesn't get tracked is what's going on in the high RAS rooms where I do. And I parked that in there saying it's just sold in RAS rooms. So I'm getting a little bit better of a price onto how much volume is going on. He's just getting eBay and like Golden and Heritage. I got all that too. But I get to incorporate the RAS rooms and some of the other deals I see going on. So I can sit there and say, there's a lot of this out there and there's a lot more popping than what it is. I think it's time to sell versus what a lot of other people are seeing. And if you guys belong to, into Facebook groups and stuff like that are selling, doing rises and the bigger cards, you get an understanding of it. And you see like, dang, they just hit a whole ton of, Wander Franco auto stay. What's up with that? Well, the market just went up. So it's probably time to go, because if those guys that I know are doing it, there's something up with it. I need to probably get rid of mine too. That's usually my thought. And then I start looking at the trends and I'm like, ooh, there was a huge spike here. Is it going to still go up, or should I roll the dice? And then that's when I look to see how much I have into that card. Is it worth the risk or not? And
but that's another thing.
Worth the risk, that's another thing. Make it up.
When you roll the dice and you take your chance, it's about how you recover if you don't hit it. You got to learn to be able to recover fast from a mistake, or be able to recover something that, okay, I'm investing in this one right here. It didn't hit like I was going to, but I need to recover quick, because if I don't, I can really go down. You got to learn how to be able to recover fast. James makes a good point right there. Just collect what you like. You ain't got to worry about it. I agree with that. So, yeah, I mean, if the bottom falls out, you still have your own collection to enjoy. Yeah, I mean, I have my collection that I'm still going to enjoy, but I think recovering from how you handle what you're doing plays a big part too.
I think there's a big thing though when everybody talks about bottom falling out. What is considered a bottom falling out? Are we talking 90s falling out? Are we just talking where we're at now or a little bit lower? Um, I when I think of bottom falling out, this is my thoughts on it. We bought in at a high end, and now we lost over 50% value. We're already bottomed out. If you're talking about losing 80% value, that the hobby's dead. It would be
Yeah.
dead after that. We wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
recover. Even though we recovered from the 90s saga and the early 2000s, if we could dip down, I'm not talking Luca bases either on this. I'm talking overall market. Yeah, we would be in bad shape because you're talking Jordan rookies, Topps Chrome, LeBron rookies going from 40K to 25K. Jordan rookies dropping from like 10K now to 6, 7K, depending on the grade and stuff like that there. But if that would drop down again another half, I would start worrying then. And that's why I stick to serial numbers, mostly autographs, stuff that I know. In due time, whether it would be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, it's going to rebound well. And as the stocks, if you ever notice that when the stocks, the Bitcoin, all that stuff does well, all the markets kind of contribute. Some people say sports cards are in that market. I would disagree to a point. I think that you can't base sports cards off the stock market, even though we have them now in the stock market with IPOs and Bitcoin and all that stuff there, because there's still a good chunk of collectors out there. It's not all 100% investing. A lot of people are still out there collecting. I still know huge PSC registry set collectors. So, does the stock market that dictated to a point because we've now allowed cards to have an IPO and you can buy a share of it, but it doesn't.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that they're doing that. If you're gonna go into a card, just buy it yourself. I don't like the whole, I own 10% of this card. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You don't even own 10%. You own like a tenth of a percentile of the card because of what they're doing. They're buying a card for 10,000. You're buying it in at like $10, $20 for whatever percentage it is of it. And then you have to have it for, I think, 45 or 90 days. And then you're allowed to trade your options or your percentage into it. But if 50% or greater want to sell that card, it gets sold, then you get the cash out. You don't get to keep your shares in, which I think is but if you have a lot of smart people into it, know how to go in and out and flip a lot, you can make a lot of money too.
I own a timeshare in a Jordan. That's what I want to say to somebody. No.
To me, before I buy a share in any card, I'll just buy it myself.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
I might not be able to go buy the 10 of a Michael Jordan rookie now, but I definitely could buy a PSA 1. I still got a Michael Jordan rookie. I could take it, see it, touch it, kiss it, take it to bed with me, lay on the pillow next to me. Hey, whatever I want.
Hey, okay.
I was not going that way with this. I set it in bed my pillow. Come on now. It's
no,
PG-13, but
I get it. Some people can't afford to do it, but it's called saving. Save it for it. I mean,
now you're in the finance class with people overall. This is not saying that everybody out there and the people in the chat or nothing like that. People always have issues saving money. They get it, they blow it.
Yep.
And the greatest lesson I could ever tell somebody is that if you grew up poor and then you came into money, those people usually will tend to save it longer. Now, they might still spend it all, but they'll save it for a longer time because they're used to surviving on very little. Versus the other way around, you might be used to a luxurious life. Now, all of a sudden you can't, and you got to, You can't eat Taco Bell. You gotta go to Taco John's or whatever it's called down the road instead because they're cheaper tacos. But you know, it's one of the harder parts saying for somebody to save up for it. You have to have some type of initial drive and mentality that you want to do it in order to do it and make it happen. People talk all the time that they're going to go do stuff and they never do it. I mean, I hear it constantly, constantly.
See,
I
I'm
think
still trying to save up for a Jordan. I'm still trying to save up for a Jordan, but if I get a Jordan, I don't want a Jordan no lower than a 7 or an 8. And I
when's
know
Space
I got to
Jam
save
come
up
out?
for it.
When's the new Space Jam movie come out?
I don't
Next
care, and
month.
I hope it flops.
Don't matter. It's going to flop. I'm going to tell you now. If you don't buy your Jordan rookie by the release of Space Jam, you must be waiting another year or two. It's just a thing. It really is. Space Jam will bring back old memories, and Michael Jordan is the smartest person alive to reinvent and to look what he did to the playoffs last year. He purposely put out the Bulls thing onto it. That's the only reason why it wasn't released earlier. He has another one that's supposed to be coming out, and he said it's not time yet. We'll wait a while. I guarantee you, it's whenever LeBron goes in the Hall of Fame, or he'll have that series out because
He knows how
people
to
forget.
market. He knows how to market himself flat out. He knows how to make himself relevant year after year after year.
Taco John's is better than Taco Bell. See what I started? I should have said that. I do like the potatoes there better. That is true. I will give them that.
Exactly, Tampa. There's cards you want to save up for, but then you find deals that you can't pass up. It's like that.
Arnie,
It
there
just
is
it's
no
hard.
game plan. It was somebody had a great idea out there to make a baseball card into a stock and make it into an IPO, and people bid on it. I am not a fan of it.
Mm-mm.
Do it.
No.
I know people that have and they love it. I mean, it's almost like people are buying them virtual videos Top Shot. No,
Oh.
no. This guy, no go. Now, people did buy it. I know people had sold that stuff at some stupid money, but now I don't know what it's selling at. I couldn't tell you. It was just a new flavor of the month. If you guys notice, Topps has done their own subscription boxes now monthly with their own special cards in it. Do you get in it or not? I don't know. I'm not. I mean,
Well, they kind of did that with the Tops Now thing. They kind of do that with the Project 2021 or the Project 20 they do. They do all that stuff online too. So it's just another way for them to get your money in a way that you're not going to be able to get at the store.
and John
You
said
know?
right, unless you have the money now for a Jordan rookie, you might as well forget. It's true.
Oh, I will get a Jordan. Mark my
Jordan,
word.
Jordan,
I will get a Jordan.
Jordan
Alvarez.
what? Jordan
Alvarez.
Alvarez?
Yeah, I'll get a Jordan. Yeah.
You can go get a Jordan, but I'm saying a Jordan Fleer rookie. But you mean a Fleer sticker rookie? Because then we have a catch-all on that. If you're talking about the Fleer sticker rookie, you could still get one.
No, no,
But
I'm
a
talking.
Fleer
I'm
rookie is
talking
starting to
the
become a.
original Jordan Rick. I'm not talking the sticker.
Well, I'm talking about. I'm just making sure I know what you're talking about. What grade are you going at? 6, 7?
7 or an 8. That's what I'm aiming for.
I would
And
say
I'll wait.
you might want to
I ain't going
call
nowhere.
sick one day from working before the Space Jam movie. I'm not feeling good. I got the poops or whatever you got to say, and make your little trip to Burbank. Schedule the meeting ahead of time, or say you got a doctor's appointment somewhere, and go make that trade up with some cash now because that stuff's about to go up again. And I don't think it's going to come down like it did because it's not going to be a huge blast. It's going to be still expensive. I don't know if the Space Jam cards will go up in value, and I already know that there's cards in there, Derby. It's selling for stupid amounts, way more than the 50-cent packs they were back in the day, especially if you have that stuff in great condition. Some of the stuff with Jordan on is just, if you look at it under PSA 10, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
The sub box is worth it if you could actually get it. I don't know if I just seen it on there. I think it comes with like a hanger box. You get a little cool Tops notepad, and then like some like 5-card set. or something like that. I was looking at it. I thought it was a cool idea until I saw it was a hanger box in there. I figured they were going to give me a couple hobby packs or something.
Yeah, the tops are physical cards and not the blockchain that Panini do. It's not that I don't like that blockchain stuff neither, which is crazy the stuff that goes for though.
I
Trout
mean,
rookie card, LeBron rookie card, PSA 10s are on my bucket list. I sold my Trout 9.
I don't know if I would be a buyer of a LeBron rookie right now, to be honest.
I don't know if I'd be a Trout buyer neither.
I think they've hit pretty much their potential for base wise. Now, for the serial numbered autos and stuff like that, there might be some room for improvement that'll come into play with further milestones and, retirement, Hall of Fame, and death. I might not even be alive by the time the dude dies. I mean, I don't
Oh my
know.
God, John brought up Space Jam Pogs. Wow. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
Blockchain is physical. I thought it was all digital. Or are you just talking about being physical that it's a redemption?
The redemption card's physical, but the card itself is
Itself
all
is
digital.
digital. Okay,
It's
that's
all
what I thought he
digital.
meant.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's they're selling like crazy high for Zions that are digital cards. It's not even a real card. You don't get to touch it. You don't get to have it physical. Yeah, I get to look on the computer screen. Yep, I own that. I can't do that.
Oh, for PC, yeah, yeah, I could see. I mean, if I was to if I wanted a LeBron rookie just for PC, the tops rookie has really dropped down in price PSA wise. I'd probably just, if I had the money for that, that would be what I would buy. I think the 10 it was up to 10 grand. I think that thing slipped down to like 6 or 7 now. I'd have to look again. It's been a while since I looked. But I mean, that would be my thing there. If it's just for PC and not for investment, I just want, you want to have a LeBron rookie in your collection. My personal favorite though of that year is the Fleer Ultra, especially if you can get a gold medallion. I'm just diehard fan of that one.
No, James, I never got into the Doc Tops digital stuff.
Oh heck no, I don't do anything digital. That could be hacked. You know how many times my credit was taken from me, and the government was the one that leaked it. Many times. I'll do nothing digital.
Let me see. I have one LeBron auto in this right
I
here.
still balance a checkbook. That's how old school I am.
You have checks?
I do, and I have the checkbook to put a registry. I use it daily with everything I buy, whether it's by a card or not.
Let me see if I can flip this around. This is the LeBron auto I have, and it's nothing massive, but I bought this, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago before the boom and everything like that. I got a hell of a deal on it. I think I paid, I think I paid like 450 for it.
What is
But
it?
I mean, I have this one. It's a 9 out of 10 in his St. Vincent St. Mary jersey. I have this LeBron auto.
Yeah, because the Upper Deck after a while only was licensed to do college uniforms. They lost their MBA. And that's
Yes,
why you see like towards the end of Upper Deck, a lot of their stuff with the St. Mary's and the Jordans were North
mm-hmm.
Carolinas.
That's the LeBron, and then that's funny you say Jordan, North Carolina, because that's exactly what I have as my Jordan auto. Is a North Carolina one. The 2 out of 5, I have this one, and I think I paid 550 for this one a couple years ago too, before the spike, because I was like, I don't have a Jordan auto, so I grabbed this. So, I mean, it's not a Bulls. It's not more desirable than the Bulls ones, but I mean, at least I have a Jordan now because glad I grabbed one when I did.
That was an email for this. I don't know. I mean, the LeBron stuff I have now anymore is all because Jordan's on the same card Tim autoed. I do have a LeBron Bowman Chrome Beckett Quad 9.5 rookie, and I have one
Old
in
HGA
Arizona.
messed up big time, huh? I'm not a fan of HGA. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not a fan of a lot of these new grading companies. If we're going to get into grading companies, there's a lot of them I am not a fan of.
Now I
HGA,
start grading companies till next week's stuff because that topic alone is going to take a while with discussion on new grading companies and old grading companies or whatever it may be, because a lot of people are certain fans of certain ones, and what I might be a fan of might not be what Joey's a fan of, might not be what you're a fan of, and it's no, he's not from Cleveland. He wants
nope.
to be from Cleveland, though.
My
He really
favorite
does. He
baseball player of all time was
wants
an
to live
Indian. Okay,
outside of Cleveland.
my favorite baseball player of all time is Jim Tomei. So I became an Indians fan because of him, and I still am an Indians fan. I have a White Sox hat is on because my buddy used to play for the White Sox. Now he plays. No, he's back with the White Sox now. I take that back. He went from Arizona to the White Sox, the Nationals, back to the White Sox. Adam Eaton, friend of mine. So yeah, but no, Jim Tomei is my favorite player. That's why I'm Indians always. That's why I have an Indian tattoo. So
Yeah, I think next week we're going to hit grading companies. And I had some other ideas jotted down on one of these sticky somewhere. But yeah, I think that there. I can't remember what the other ones were offhand. I'm going to throw this one away because otherwise it's just going to get piled up with the other stuff. But yeah, I definitely want to touch grading companies because there's a lot out there. There's some positives, there's negatives about every company there is. There's a lot that I'm not a strong fan of, honestly, at all either.
no,
Some of them
I
are
yeah,
very gimmicky. Some of them look like a novelty company, and that's fine. If they want to come out and be a novelty company, it can be a novelty company. But at the same time frame, well, I mean, seriously, think about it. If it displays nice, that's a novelty, right?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Which
no,
three companies? There's three of them that I'm talking about. They're novelty companies to me. But that's
the
me.
one, the one
Yeah,
novelty
you
one
go.
you're
Yeah.
hitting on.
Oh wait, wrong way with the camera. But no, I mean, that's my point of view onto it. If people, some people will like it, some won't, some will agree, some won't. It's what everybody prefers. I mean, if you want a card to be displayed on a shelf, there's companies for that. If you want a card for investment or for, pride and set registry or flipping or whatever, there's different things for each company. In my thing, I've been a big PSC registry guy, so that's why I'm a fan with it because there's so much there. They do awards and all kind of stuff. Um, and that's where I want to get into that stuff, though. It might be the only topic really for next week because I know it's going to be a long one.
Well,
It might
like
reach.
like I've been saying, there is a market for a number 4 grading company spot. We all know PSA is number 1, Beckett 2. Right now, I guess you can say SGC 3. The 4th one's still up in the air. And eventually, there is going to be a number 4 to solidify itself.
I think there's going to be a 5. I think there's going to be 5 grading companies that'll by the end of next year. I think we'll only be talking 5 grading companies. 5.
Yeah, no, 5. No, I can think of another one. Yeah, I can think
I
of.
mean,
Yeah,
GMA's been around for a long time frame, and I mean they'll still be around, but they won't be one of the top 5 people are talking about. I think there's going to be 5 companies, and I think it's going to be market depicting and type of card depicting of what you want graded across the board.
yeah. I have two grading companies in mind for that 4th and 5th
HGA
spot.
is a novelty company.
Yeah. It's not a novelty company. HGA is a novelty company. Well, I won't touch on HGA. We can save that till next week. We can
Yeah,
save that till next. If I'm here next week,
that's gonna be.
if he wants me back next week, I'll jump in next week. If he wants to bring
And I mean,
somebody else,
anybody wants to come into Zoom and just sit there and talk, I don't care. I just
yeah,
leave it up because I figure if other people want to come live and hey, you want to drop your stream thing and all that stuff, I don't bother me.
Yeah,
You
like John
know,
says right here, CSG is 4 right now. I can.
I would probably say CSG is a close, strong. It's coming up on third very quickly. I think so because they have a reputation with comic books.
Yeah. No, there's just certain companies I'm just not even going to entertain. I'm not even going to give them.
GMA will always be around. They will always be around. They've held it through ever onto it. I'm not a fan, never have been, but they just always somehow stick around. They're like that piece of bubble gum that you step on as you're walking, and you just can't get it all out of your soul. It's still there no matter what. And I'm not
Uh huh.
calling them a dirty piece of gum or nothing like that. It's just that they've always been able to hang in there as a grading company. The only reason they get talked about is because people talk bad about them in a way because of value. And that's the reason why there's no resale. If you just want something slabbed and to throw into a collection that you PC and you don't care about, about value onto it long term, perfectly fine.
I have noticed though. Um, Go off topic a little bit. Card saver ones have gone down a lot. So if you're looking for card saver ones, now is your time to grab them.
I got like 2,000 here. If I go through that
I got
many,
1,000. I bought 400 more the other day, but I'm finding them for 80% off what they were asking right now. They have actually dropped a lot. I think I bought a 200 pack for $40 the other day. So, I mean, if you're going to be grading, now's the time to grab card saver ones before PSA opens back up and people just start buying them and using them like crazy again. You
I
know,
got a ton of the new Beckett ones here. I mean, they're card saver ones. They look nice. They got a little white label on top. You can write whatever you want on there. Maybe I can make
I,
like a smiley face on one for the grader and see what happens.
I know penny sleeves and top loaders are still not going to be going down anytime soon. But card saver ones right now, if you need card saver ones, I recommend you guys going to get them now if you're going to be grading before the prices start to go back up. I think I think they got their inventory up to par because I know there was a shortage for a while. So they must have got it up to par because now you can get them fairly cheap. Yeah, $4 was retail for 200. Yeah, yeah, I paid about $40 for one. So
Arnie's right. I mean, many companies have come and gone. PSA, Beckett, SGC still on. GMA still been around too. We'll give them some props. They've hung in there for a while. But with all the new ones coming out, I think CSG will stick around for a while because
mhm.
there's so many companies mixed underneath one big one. Um, I'll really hit on to because I want to try to grab all these companies that have emailed me or I've had notes on from people telling me because you got like TCG is just strictly Pokemon. We can't even really talk about because they only do Pokemon cards and stuff like that. They don't do any sports cards. So
Yeah,
there are companies out there that are very specific to what they grade, and I'm not going to hit them up, but if they're grading sports cards, I think we're going to toss them all into a bucket. And maybe what we'll do is I'll just pick a name out of the bucket and we'll just see what everybody's got on to them offhand. And I think we might leave out Beckett and PSA right off the bat because even SGC because they've been around for a while. We
yeah,
all know the good, bad, and ugly that's happened with all three companies. I think we hit all the newer ones to include like CSG, which is pretty going to come much favorable onto them. Yeah, they had a couple label mishaps, but it's going to happen. So I think that'll be kind of interesting. I mean, I'll try digging through and seeing all these different names and stuff out there. I mean, a lot of them nobody's ever heard of, but there's just some shop owner made his own grading company up, and stuff like that. You probably won't ever hear of them. But I think it'll be interesting of a conversation, and we'll I'll probably somehow put the video on like what they call it, not document mode, but it'll remind me in a year to do a follow up on it, and we'll talk in 1 year and see how many of them companies are still around and where they're at onto their business side. Because the only question I have for the newer agrarian companies, how many of them are doing it full time and how many of them are doing it part time after they get out of their real job and and stuff like that there. I could answer that on behalf of 2 to 3 of them because I do know if they're a card shop owner, then yeah, they're doing it full time. But are they marketing full time and all that? Because if you're going to come out of the new grading company, you need to be able to give 100% to it. You're going to work long, strenuous hours onto it because you're going to have maybe 1 week you have a big order, next week you don't. I don't know what big and small orders consist of for a new grading company, so I don't want to talk numbers, but I think consistency is good to a point. And I mean, how many of the new companies are going to be sitting and have a table display up at National? And if you do, let me rephrase that. They probably don't because the way the National works is this year's National, if you have a table, you get to register for next year, okay? Anybody that does not come or extra tables, you get put in a lethal lottery. So let's throw that one out. Maybe like how many of them are going to set up a big card show like Dallas, Wisconsin, Tampa, something like that? Because you got to get out there to the public onto it. Night, John.
Well, we'll see what companies in a year actually been solidified as trustworthy and dependable. Because
ECG. I could do it. ECG, extreme card grading. I mean, you're gonna get the roughest valuation of the card. It'll never be a 10. Nobody gets a 10. Let's see what everybody says then. You know, to give 10s out. You're right. There's a thing called a 10.
we don't go 10. We go to 11. But the knob only goes to 10. No, we go to 11.
Oh, that was that spoof site that somebody made that their grading scale went to 11. That was the funniest thing I ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I wish it was still up. They only paid for it for 30 days on like GoDaddy or something like that there.
But no, it'll be interesting in a year to see which ones are still around, which ones have actually been solidified, which ones
Good night,
people
John.
actually trust and use. Like you said, those other three, the top three companies, yeah, we don't really need to discuss them. They're already been solidified. They've been around for over 20 years, if not longer.
Well, we know the goods, the bads, the scandals that went on with all three companies across the board. I mean, everybody's graded bad stuff. People have graded trim cards, all three companies. But the thing is, your bigger two companies, they're going to have more because they had more production line than SGC did during those years, grading cards in and out. So, of course, they're going to be a little more heavier.
But we'll always be able to see in a year how the card market is as well. We'll see how much, if it's actually dipped down even more, or if it got a little bump between now and a year. It'll be interesting because those grading companies are going to be going by how the market's going. No market, no grading.
My idea is to hit the market talk like once every 3 months per quarter. And this here is kind of like pre-national. We're going to probably hit it again about 2 weeks after the national, see what we consider. Are we in a soft market, a steady line market still being soft? Have we gone down more? Have we gone up? Overall consensus on not that, some players did real well. So now we got this, or we had a Kobe documentary come out. So the market boomed. But there's reasons behind what everything does onto it. And I want to try to hit different topics, minus the week I do the card auction, but to where it just jives with stuff. People get to hear real talk onto it. It's not sugar coated at all. To where
plus by then PSA will be back opened up to
that'll be a topic
they want to do
whenever stuff starts reopening up. What are you setting in?
What products are coming out too between now and then? That's going to drive a little bit of ups or downs. So, I mean, we got product, we got PSA opening back up, how that's going to affect a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff coming back from PSA, how that's going to do a little bit of the market. A lot of stuff's going to start getting flooded in. So
There's going to be a lot of talk. I mean,
mhm.
especially with the base cards dropping down, how far will they bottom out and stuff? That's why I said it's never going to be dry for topics by far, because there's always going to be somebody out there that does some dumb scam that it's going to be talked about. Because even if the video posts, we're still going to talk about it. We're going to talk about them and the card and everything else because it just makes it more fun for the evening.
I'm waiting for someone to just have a video of someone body slamming somebody at Walmart over cards. I'm waiting for someone to just flat out body slam somebody.
There was a guy who was scamming people on all these Facebook groups a couple years ago named Vinny. Vinny's a common name. I can't remember his last name if, at all who he was, but he was like New York or something like that, right? Somebody caught him at a card show with the cards he scammed people out of. Like he would do a trade, but he would never send, so he got the other end. And he had him at this show, and this guy was telling him that he was dirt and all this stuff. And the dealer that was dealing with said, I don't care, man. I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to make this deal. And I was like, oh, another dirty dealer. Great, here we go. But they should have really seriously took the guy out. And the guy said, I'm waiting for you outside. I'm gonna beat your ass. Never happened, but because he probably skated out another door. But there's people that were like really hunting this dude down big time.
There was a guy who pulled a gun to defend himself. I tell those retail guys are savage. They are savage. And it's all for the quick flip. I mean, eventually it's all going to go away.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all going to go away, which is fine by me. Let it go away. You want to buy a blaster box? Go to Tops. Go to their website. Go to Panini's website. Or go to Target's website. Go to Walmart. I mean, that's fine. I don't care. But seeing these videos of guys running into Walmart when they first opened, literally sprinting, and they got their shopping cart. They got their shopping cart, and they're just doing this to the aisle. Wham! Sliding it all in their cart. I can't wait for that to stop.
Greed. We have been in a greed era for last year, and it's just not changing at all. The only thing that's going to happen is people are going to lose money, and it's going to affect some people out there. If you could stick through this bad time and the good time both together, because there's some good times. I mean, you make some money, it's a good time. Bad time, you can't get product, it's too expensive. But if you could ride this out and still be with it year down the road, we'll be leveled out real well. Do I think hobby boxes are going to still be $1,000 for Prism? No.
No.
Unless something special comes out to where they have the big hype and it's really like the next LeBron James type, Michael Jordan, Kobe come out. They tried to do with Zion. It really didn't work too well. But if they could find somebody else to market, yeah, it might push up prices back up a little bit. But I think
They're gonna
overall,
try and do that with Jason Dominguez. Watch.
that's baseball though. But if you
Mm-hmm.
look, his first stuff's already out.
Yep.
If you look at minimum wage has gone up to $15 an hour in some states and stuff like that. When prices increase for wages every year, so is the product you're going to buy, whether it's an apple, a piece of steak, a baseball
Yep.
card, or whatever. Price is going to go up because the companies making it have to pay more now for electric, gas, paper, wood, whatever it may be. So I always expect product to go up, but I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of craziness coming down the road.
Oh no, you're gonna pay more and expect less. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna pay for more and get less. They've already done it with a bunch of stuff. They're gonna do it with cards. You know that's gonna happen. Eventually you're gonna be like, oh, instead of having 24 boxes to a pack, we're gonna have four packs to a box and charge
They
twice as
will,
much. They
I
already they
mean,
already do that now with hybrid and and stuff like that. They're already doing it stuff like that. I get it. That's a novelty. It's a different kind of box, but
if you go back to some of my earliest videos on here, because they're not all on here, we used to on Breakers TV because it would get bad. We would just have the live stream record on YouTube too. That we were breaking Topps Chrome from 2000, or not Topps Chrome, Bowman Chrome 2016, which is Tatis's first Bowman. I was getting them at like $600 a case for the vending cases, and we were breaking them at like seven and a quarter. That covers your shipping and stuff onto it. You were lucky back then to make $40, $50 after it was said and done on a case break. I mean, when you got new release stuff and you made like 150, $200 profit off of like, say, I don't want to use a high end case off a Prism or something like that. Well, Prism wasn't that big. Topps Chrome. You were so happy. You were like, yes, man, I made good money today. You know, you were happy. But then all of a sudden it just started shifting in gears to where people had to make, oh, I got it. I got to get that pre order and make that 3,000 off of this because I got to rebuy back into it. You don't really have to, but you just lose that pre allocation you got. I mean,
Yeah, like Chris right there. A Big Mac is just a shell of what it used to be for more money. You know what is another shell? Cupcakes. You get those Hostess cupcakes, those little 2-pack. Look how small they are now.
man, I remember getting candy bars for 40 cents. Not
Ice
50,
cream.
40.
Big old bars, dirt cheap. You know how much a Snicker bar is now? $1.99.
I remember RC Cola machines used to be a dime, then they raised it to a quarter.
Yeah, yeah. But it was the same amount though. The Hostess, the cupcakes were like huge. Now they're like this big.
Oh, yeah,
They're
they are
small.
smaller now.
They're smaller,
It's
but
like
you're still paying.
and I saw somebody bring in a pack one day, and I'm like, that's a Twinkie? I'm like, dang, that
Yeah.
looks small. And I'm like, no, it's always been that size. I'm like, oh, I haven't had a Twinkie in like 40 years, so I don't know, or 30, whatever.
No. They're smaller. Everything's you get smaller portions, but now you're paying the same amount or paying more and getting less.
Yeah. It's just
That can be the cards in a couple of years. You're gonna pay more and get less. They're already doing it now, unless the market goes down. But I don't see the days of 36-pack boxes happening anymore.
no. I remember $18 boxes when they were 50 cents a pack. That was
Mm-hmm.
in like 93. Heck, I
Yep.
remember going to the store and paying 25 cents for a pack of Topps cards. I remember they used to
Yep.
raise it like a nickel a year because it went to 30, 35,
30
40,
cent, 35,
50,
40,
55,
45.
60.
Uh-huh.
I was like, every
Uh-huh.
year it's a nickel more. I'm like, how come my allowance ain't going up? Man, that was the wrong thing to say. Got beat. Baseball cards are going up a nickel a year. Can I get a little bit more than my $2 every 2 weeks? Crack! No. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get less baseball cards now every time.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see how things are in a year. I think this year is going to do a lot. It's going to say a lot for this hobby because kind of right now we're on the down slope of the hype. It's starting to go down. It's starting to go down slowly, but eventually it's gonna hit the bottom of it. I don't think we've hit the bottom yet, but
I think
we're going there.
I think certain cards have hit the bottom already, but I think there's a lot more cards that have not hit rock bottom yet.
Well, like James says right there, print run. The less you make, the more they're worth.
Oh, that's true. Look at Flawless. Well, I can say look at Flawless, but I think that certain cards have hit their bottom peak right now. A lot of the newer stuff has not because we just have an overproduction of it. If
Mm-hmm.
you're talking like graded card wise, like a Topps Chrome LeBron PSA 10, I think we're pretty much at where it's bottomed out at right now. I mean, it's already dropped like 15 grand, 12 to 15 grand. And do I think that Luca PSA 10 bases are at the bottom yet? No. Because once people start really catching on to the overpopulation and all these guys that flip get out, we're going to go right back to opening up boxes, just looking for autographs. Nobody's going to care. And then there's going to be a spin put on it again to where everybody wants the stuff. And that's like where I was getting at before, where I used to do my bulk submissions and stuff. A lot of my bulk used to be like refractor Otanis, the green a 99 base, stuff like that. That was my bulks back in the day. Nowadays, bulk was actually this past year, bulk would submit every rookie card you have.
I think the limit of cards is going to drive the market later. The less there is, the more they're going to be worth, and that's what's going to drive it.
If they actually put a cap on grading, I will want to plot it. And two, I'm really going to be curious on what that does to the market. I think it'll add value in some ways, and in other ways, it'll start killing off a lot of them bases. They really will. Until somebody sees that some base card went for a stupid amount of money and everybody's going to send that one base card in and try to start projecting again. Like I said, it all breaks down to what people see and what they think, and then keyword greed onto it all. And you can't have nice things when everybody jumps in greedy. I mean, that's just a given. It always has been. Damn, we've been on that long? Almost 3 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen here, clown shoes. I didn't realize we were on that long.
Calm down, princess.
Yeah, clown shoes. All right, bro. Come on, bro.
Easy, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Be professional, man. Don't call me bro. Don't be professional.
I think we're actually gonna call it here for the night. It's been a long one. I didn't really realize it was like that long. I thought we were on it for about an hour and a half. Like literally, last time I looked at my thing onto here, we were on for like an hour and like 2 minutes. And I really didn't think we were in that much further. Kind of crazy, huh? But yeah, we're gonna cut it here tonight, everybody. I do appreciate y'all coming in, stopping in, hanging out. Didn't know it was that long. See, that's what happens when I say I'm going to do a test run on something. Now I get long-winded because of wanting to talk. And I just talked all day to card show. That's why I thought it was going to be more short. But
you even took a nap, old man.
Nah, I'm going to go eat some breakfast here, man. I'm going to take a whole day nap. Stuff listed in the store done, and I don't have anything to do but take the pug out in the morning when she says, "Hey, I got to pee and poop."
Not me. I got to go to work. So,
but hey, we do appreciate you guys coming in. It'll be next Friday night, 11 p.m. I'll start it again. Like I said, it's going to be a Friday night thing unless I got a show. So, with Friday night next week, same time, we'll start discussing overall grading companies, which will be fun and interesting. Much fun. All right, everybody, appreciate it. We are out of here, and I have to cut the whole stream, CBC, so I'll hit you up tomorrow.
Later, guys. You have a good night.
All right, man. Talk to you later.